I was gonna release this video around the Return to Yarnum community event, but then I got a job at retail, so... Anyway, Bloodborne bosses. I always did not think much of these bosses. They were pretty... They don't seem very strong when you look at them, right? Like this, you know, carried by the DLC and all that. But then I stopped treating Bloodborne like this super hyper-aggressive action game and started realizing that you're supposed to play it a lot more slower and a lot more tactically. And now suddenly all these bosses work a lot better. But anyway, let's talk about a boss that does not work very well and does not introduce the average player to the way you're supposed to play Bloodborne very well, and that is the Cleric Beast is the tutorial boss for Bloodborne. People say it's Gascoigne, but they only say that because Gascoigne is a fun boss fight, so they want to gas him up even more than he already is gassed up. Cleric Beast is the real intro to Bloodborne, to its bosses, and what you should expect, and what is like a good example of what will come later on. Let's take a look at all of these bosses. Dark Beast Parl, Vicar Amelia, Amygdala, Rom to a certain extent, Ebrietas, One Reborn, even the DLC, shitloads of bosses in the dungeons are the exact same way. They all have this limb breaking system. You hit one limb long enough, it breaks, and then it takes more damage. Then the boss fight at one point or another will regenerate all its broken limbs, so you can do it all over again. The Cleric Beast, as an intro to this mechanic, is awful. I've said that plenty of times now, but more or less, Cleric Beast ends up being just a trophy boss. It's a pretty good trophy boss, big scary monster, the player will feel like a badass after killing it, but it doesn't teach anything. Its limbs are so brittle that the slightest touch will break them, and then it curls up. After one of its limbs breaks, it curls up like an idiot, exposing all of its limbs, even lowering its head down to your level, meaning if you just keep spamming attacks in the general direction of the Cleric Beast, you will break another limb again. Which, I mean, cool, right? Look, it's working, so the player learns that this is what you're supposed to do. The player has no idea what is happening. They're just hitting the boss and it recoils after every hit, like, oh, my arm, oh, my leg, oh, my head, oh, when did this happen? What are they supposed to take out of that? They don't know. It should have been that the Cleric Beast was literally indestructible, but if you hit one limb long enough, now it finally takes like a lot more damage to that limb. But that's not what happens. The Cleric Beast has 0 health, all of its limbs break instantly, you can even shoot the head and there's pistol bullets just lying there in the arena, so you can shoot the head and break it for a visceral attack. That's a positive of the boss fight, but because it's already so easy to kill the Cleric Beast without even trying, then that positive turns into a negative. Let's look at some positive things of this boss fight. First of all, the level does prepare you somewhat well for it. Even if you don't know how to fight, like just the bread and butter, you know, dodge hit bullshit of these games, you don't have to know that this early on. You can just cheese it with Molotovs, and the game is very generous with them. And unlike Gascoigne, you can actually hit something on this boss fight with the Molotovs, so that's nice. You can also use the torch, well, not good, but it does nice damage against the Cleric Beast. You can use the oil urns. You can shoot its head to get a visceral attack if you're a dex build. Not that it will do much more damage if you're a dex build at this point. But all of these things are clearly here. They thought about it. That's all really nice. Problem is, dies too quickly, doesn't teach you something that the player really should have known this early. Another sort of issue I have with this boss is just the way its attacks are conceived. Like, how uninteresting. One of its arms is bigger than the other, But there's no real like there's no evident difference between the two. One does not attack slower than the other. They both attack at more or less the same exact speed. Like, you don't go to its right side, risking a heavier, stronger hit from its left, bigger hand, but it's also easier to dodge because it's slower, or something like that. No, it's the same speed. Its combos utilize both of its arms all the time, so it's not even like it's changing in between them visually. It's just flinging shit in front of it to do damage. It's just spawning hurt boxes in front of it. That's it. It doesn't do anything clever. Not a good tutorial boss. Gundyr follows suit in Dark Souls 3, like very similar. He's just a trophy. He doesn't teach you anything. You dodged properly. Bro, 90% of the starting classes have a shield. Who cares about dodging? This guy, everyone says this is the tutorial of Bloodborne, and I mean, he is pretty tough. And he is pretty tough for a reason. You're supposed to gear up, prepare. But I have the argument of that's sort of worthless. Gearing up and preparing for Gascoigne does not make that much difference. Your weapons can be at max +3. All of them, if you were wasting shitloads of hours farming the beasts or the huntsmen, I think they're called, down in the sewers to fully upgrade your weapon. It still doesn't do that much of a difference, but it does at least ask you to please upgrade your weapon with these limited resources, so that in the upcoming area where those same exact resources for upgrading weapons are so plentiful, you will have more of them than you know what to do with. What is this? What are you doing From Software? Where is the progression going here? Like, you threw it out the window. As a boss fight, obviously, I'm not gonna come out here and say Gascoigne is terrible. He's fine. His hits are fairly nicely paced. The only thing I have an issue with is his gun. It's just a worthless disengage that stops you from doing anything you were doing at the time and does basically 0 damage. Why does he need this attack? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do damage. It stops you from attacking. Okay, so that I can not miss my attack because the Gascoigne is already dodging. Like, I'm not gonna hit him. Why are you stopping me from... Why are you canceling my recovery animation? Why don't you just attack me? What are you... It's stupid. They just gave it to him because he's supposed to be a hunter and they use guns, but they don't know how to make a boss that parries you yet in an interesting way. Other than that, he's fun. He's well paced. He's got 3 phases. He's got a gimmick which can make him easier, reward for exploration. It's still early game. We shouldn't force you to just bang your head against a wall right now at this point. We should give you some cheap way out of it that also has a story and all that. He also has a story. Like, there's a whole quest. Unlike most NPCs in From Software games, this quest is actually good. Interesting, and has various ways it can go, and you're engaged in it, and something comes out of it, a boss fight and stuff. But anyway, let's not get into NPCs in Souls games. Let's not worry about that. Let's instead talk about the negatives of this boss fight. What does this boss teach you? That you're supposed to dodge behind enemies? Okay, thank you for teaching me what this entire tutorial area has been teaching me. Cool, thanks. What? I mean, I get it. From Software and most people who play these games are very much aware that you just deadass, people just deadass do not pay attention when it comes to these games unless it's a boss fight. Then they finally pay attention. Then it's like, oh shit, now I have to activate my brain. But still, like, the type of boss fight that Gascoigne is will not show up in this game until literally the final boss of the game, not counting Moon Presence. What? You may go into the Chalice dungeons and maybe someone like Thumerian Descendant or Keeper of the Old Lords are somewhat similar to this in some way, shape, or form, but other than that, DLC, there's one boss there's two. There's two bosses somewhat similar to Gascoigne. And then it's just German. What? Huh? Even the beast form of this, even the final phase of this boss fight is not repeated again. There is no beast that actively punishes you for being in front of it. Most of them try to punish you for being behind them. Well, Watchdog kind of punishes you for being in front of it, but that's a dungeon boss. Who knows how long it will take you to fight against them? Ridiculous. Father Gascoigne, I mean, I know he was designed late in the game's development, so I get why he feels kind of out of place when it comes to Bloodborne's bosses, but still, fucking insane. But all in all, that does also like sort of make him a unique boss fight, one of a kind, which is good. Every boss encounter being unique and requiring special strategies and equipment, that's the whole point of all of these games. But in the end, I still wouldn't put him anywhere above average. He is more or less what we expect from these games. The story of him is nice, but it's just the basic stuff, you know? Nothing really touches upon the important parts of Bloodborne's story with Gascoigne. Not yet, anyway. The Bloodstaffed Beast. This boss is interesting, but still poorly executed. Definitely a lot more on my level though, in terms of what I would expect of a boss fight at this point. It's aggressive, it's got some combos, it can fuck you up, but not too much, you know. There are very clear evident strategies. You can use items you find in the level beforehand. You can summon an NPC for this boss fight. I mean, the way summoning works in this game, like imagine original Bloodborne when there weren't like the summoning signs on the ground for people to use. You just had to guess that there might be an NPC here, so you'd ring the bell and then maybe Alfred will show up. This is available, by the way, for two bosses, the Cleric Beast and Bloodstarved Beast. That's it. A DLC, a patch pre-DLC had to come out in order to add other real summonable NPCs. This game sometimes, this company, man, these developers sometimes they know what they're doing. But anyway, Bloodstarved Beast has the gimmick of slow poison, because obviously the Healing Church came, poisoned all Yharnam, so they could practice blood healing there, gain power, and dethrone Castle Cainhurst as the rulers of Yharnam. So, of course, it does poison. Story reasons and whatever. Why is the Bloodstarved Beast down here? I don't fucking know, but you know what? It kinda looks like a church. Maybe it's another Vicar Amelia situation, who knows? The poison is irrelevant. Most players will not pump health. Of course they won't. They want to use the cool things that are in the game. The cool items and whatever. So can you blame them for putting it all into strength or dexterity? No, you cannot. So most players will not have enough health to get hit by the Bloodstarved Beast, get poisoned, and then last long enough for the pressure of being poisoned and your health slowly ticking down, and also having to deal with this aggressive wild monkey running around that keeps poisoning you. They never have enough health for this situation that From Software clearly was planning for this boss to engage you in to actually happen. They get hit by the Bloodstarved Beast, and then the poison kills them not 0.3 milliseconds afterwards. It's like all the poison really is just extra damage for the boss fight in the end, technically. It never actually, oh, it's poison, I'm poisoned, I gotta do something, I gotta waste a turn of healing or attacking or whatever, trying to cure the poison off of me. No, you're dead. You just die. The Bloodstarved Beast hits you with some weird attack that you could not predict was coming out, because the visuals of this boss fight is, they're epic and cool, but the fact it's flapping around all the time, it's really hard to see what's going on, especially for a new player. So you get hit by that, and then the poison just finishes you off, if the hit itself didn't just straight up kill you. In the third phase of this boss fight, quote-unquote third phase, it keeps outputting or emitting an aura which poisons you around itself. That is a much more, better way of poisoning the player. What should have been is it just has that aura all the time, and as the fight progresses, it just builds the poison on the player faster. There you go. Done and dusted. Done and dusted. No need for this, it will only apply poison on hit. That's worthless. It's just extra damage. It doesn't actually engage the player in any way. The attacks of this boss are also another problem. Or problem. Making it sound like it's a big deal. It's not, but it just, again, it's uninspired. It's just one of them is a regular hit, and the rest of its attacks are some massive flurry in which it just keeps walking forward and swiping and yeah, cool, looks great, buddy, but I'm off in the other side of the room watching you do it and waiting for you to finish. You're wasting my time. You're wasting everyone's time. No one's going in and hitting and dodging out of those attacks. Why waste your time with that? The counter damage in this game is insane. Why would I ever engage with this combo? Another problem of this boss is a lot of its attacks just straight up miss you and carry the boss away from you, so it's constantly disengaging from you. This boss, with its theme, with its gimmick of poison, with just its visual and speed of movement in general, is clearly supposed to be high pressure, it's so stressful, he's so fast, but in the end this fight is so unbelievably slow. Waiting for it to finally be near you, do the one attack which doesn't disengage it away from you or make you waste your time by forcing you to wait for it to finish this dumbass combo flurry. In the end, this is an unbelievably slow boss. Just a few moves you can actually punish without it just running away from you. I guess the whole point of that was it constantly runs away from you and most of its damage will be done with the poison, but again, it cannot inflict poison on you unless it hits you with an attack so strong that the poison will just kill you outright. So in the end, this sort of a genius combination of the poison adding pressure, forcing the hunter to chase it while it's running around all the time and can't hit it. I can't hit this boss because I'm poisoned, I'm running out of time. And anytime you heal, it will do the lunge and eat you and insta-kill you. None of it works because it can't inflict poison on you, firstly. Secondly, waiting for the boss to finish and do the one attack which you can actually punish is the way that you're supposed to fight this boss fight. You can throw cocktails into the wall to lure it and give yourself some space to hit it. You can use the beast blood pellets to ensure that when you do get a hit in, it does a lot of damage. You can use fire and the fucking oilerons and whatever. None of it matters. None of it matters. This fight is slow. It loves to waste your time. The gimmick doesn't work. It's not engaging. It's a speed bump. It's poorly executed.
In this terrifying video, an evil sorcerer is seen sucking out the intelligence and wisdom of a cat, causing it to forget everything it's ever known.
I mean, this fight has three problems which make it terrible. The idea of it is fine, and plenty of other games have done the exact same thing as the Witches of Hemwick, and I'm not just talking about From Software games, just other games in general have done the Witches of Hemwick, but good. Or mildly better than From Software has done it here in Bloodborne. First of all, first problem, the witches don't do anything. They should be defending themselves in some way, shape, or form. Yes, I know in the second phase they can do explosions and they try and pacify you, stun you. Cool, but I meant like they're an actual threat. They're an actual threat, so that they don't have to teleport away somewhere else. They force you off of them by doing something. Not some goofy explosion, but an attack, a real attack. Why is that necessary? Because then you have to pick and choose your targets. Which on its own, who cares? But when you're getting flanked by the mad ones all the time, now it matters. This mad one is close, I gotta kill him. I need to kill him. This mad one is off in the back, I don't need to care about him just yet. Just need to hit the witch. Right now both of them are in the back, so I can focus on the witch. But I can't focus on them for too long because I gotta focus on the witch doing its thing, hitting it. And then I also have to, like, one ear, keep my ear to the streets to know if the mad ones are coming at me. But in the end, no, none of it matters. You find the witch, you spam attacks into it. The mad ones probably don't even pay attention to you 90% of the time. The mad ones are such a non-issue in this boss fight. Every now and then you run into them on your way to the witch, they spam their attacks, and that's it. Most people don't even kill them. You can even ignore them if you have zero insight, which is a cool gimmick, but a terrible gimmick, because at that point, what the fuck is... I hate this ideology of gimmick bosses that From Software does, where there's a way you can completely nullify everything about the boss fight. Why would you ever put that in the game? Why would you even put this boss fight into the game at that point? Why waste my time with this punching bag? I didn't buy this game to punch dirt. But whatever. Second issue is the mad ones themselves. I hate the way they designed them. Their attacks are literally... People make fun. Those old, stupid, fucking old head Dark Souls veterans, Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls veterans, that upturn their nose at the sight of these new Souls games, thinking, this is just brainless action, no strategy, unlike the old games. You know, exposing themselves as completely incapable of adapting to new gameplay systems. But they look at these games and they say that all of these enemies are just fucking monkeys spamming attacks going goo 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 all the time. The mad ones, I hate them because they prove them spot on correctly. Look at this fucking enemy, 0 health, gets stun locked into oblivion, but if they get to attack, they will keep attacking, just bashing their sickles into the ground until you die. They are such a dogshit fucking enemy. Stop making these enemies, From Software. I don't care how much you love the idea of a glass cannon enemy in this game. It's not a good design. Play your fucking game, From Software. Play your fucking game. The third problem with the witches is the arena. It's just there's a this tiny little bridge you can walk across at both sides of the room. Oh, big deal. Like, what? Make it more interesting. Man, if only there was a boss fight, which basically did exactly what the witches are doing, but everything about it was better, more cleverly designed, more detailed. That would be a good gimmick boss fight. Oh well. Guess we'll see if Bloodborne will have anything like that to serve us. In the end, the witches, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's boring. It's just boring.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else.
This fight, this is I'm specifically ranking Parl. As you can see on the tier list, we're ranking dungeon bosses because we rank dungeon bosses in this bitch. Mama didn't raise no bitch, we played the dungeons in Bloodborne, buddy. All of them. So Loran Darkbeast is gonna be ranked alongside the dungeon bosses a little later. I will have some interesting opinions about that boss fight, but about Darkbeast Parl, I don't have much to say. 0 health. No matter at what point you fight this boss fight, it will have 0 health. Its limbs will break very quickly. And because the whole point of this boss fight is that it's such a... You gotta break the limbs and keep breaking them. Like running in a circle, break the left arm, then go break the right arm, then go break the right leg, then go break the left leg, then go back to the left arm. In this circle constantly. Otherwise, or a different circle, whatever you, in whatever way you have damaged the limbs. Otherwise, the Dark Beast will keep powering up, keep getting stronger with both the damage that it deals to you. Dangerous fucking boss fight, insta-killing you almost all the time. But Dark Beast Parl, that never happens. He's not difficult, he doesn't do enough damage. By now, sure, we're still early game, and most players have 0 health. But by now, they have at least like a little bit more health, and they definitely have a lot of damage. Dark Beast Parl, like, no contest. Instantly spammed to death. Poorly executed. Just give him more health. Make the limb breaking system actually matter. Now, so far the lineup of bosses has not been very good. Other games, like Dark Souls 1, you remember those bosses, right? The Asylum Demon, the Taurus Demon on the bridge, you can punching attack the motherfuckers. Then you got what? Quailag? The Gargles? Bro, such peak. The first half of Dark Souls is not called peak just because of the level design. I mean, that is a strong factor, but also the bosses are not shit. Meanwhile, Bloodborne out here takes a long ass time for it to finally have a good boss fight. I mean, sure, there's Gascoigne, which is nice, but Gascoigne is one of 5, one of who knows how many if you go into the dungeons. Spoiler alert, I guess, but one of who knows how many bosses before you finally get to one good one. But goddamn, this is a good one. This is a really good one. Vicar Amelia is peak Bloodborne. Unlike the Cleric Beast, breaking its limbs is actually important. She has a lot of health. And she also has a lot of very dangerous attacks that take away a lot of your health. But breaking her limbs is very important because the stagger is so long. You can do the exact same thing that you were doing with Dark Beast Parl, or you would have been doing if Dark Beast Parl was a good, well-designed boss fight, where you can cycle between her individual limbs And depending on which ones you break, something new happens. Break the arms, she reveals her head, you can break the head. Break the legs, you get an opportunity for a visceral attack. All of these things, and we're in the mid-game, so visceral attacks or using the opportunity for a visceral attack to do something else actually matters right now. She's a beast, which means she's weak to fire, Molotovs, oil urns, fire paper, all of that. Absolutely usable. And in the last fucking phase, she can heal herself. That might seem like, oh my goodness, what cringe dog shit. But first of all, there is a limited use item you can use, the numbing mist, to stop her. If you were playing the boss poorly, you can stop the boss from punishing you for playing it poorly. Or you can learn how to fucking play the game and suddenly she doesn't even have the time to heal in the boss fight. It's genius. You need damage. Okay, good. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You have 5 different areas where you can farm upgrade materials to increase your damage. You can even farm the executioners in Hemwick Charnel Lane for better blood gems, if you so wish. If you want really good blood gems, go down into the Chalice dungeons. After 2 bosses, you will have more than enough blood gems to serve you a lifetime. You need healing? Welcome to the fucking place where the undead giants drop 5 blood vials when you kill them, alongside also upgrade materials. It's just like, I don't know when you can buy fire paper with blood echoes instead of insight, but I have a slight feeling it's maybe the Radiant Sword Hunter badge? ? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember. But what I do know, is that the badge that Jura gives you if you kill him or you get buddy with him gives you oil urns, which obviously works. Gilbert gives you the flame sprayer, which, in case you didn't know, is really powerful. Just Amelia sits there and she demands that you learn how to play this fucking game in some way, shape, or form. You either get good with the weapons and you fight her head on, or you learn the other mechanics of the game. You use the items, you're an arcane build, you're a blood tinge build, you shoot the head. You do something, you learn the fucking game. And for all of these different builds that are in the game, Amelia complements them. It's great. Now, of course, to get into SS Plus tier territory, you need a good story. And, well, since Amelia is the current vicar of the Healing Church, and the Healing Church is the main bad guy of the whole game, we're chill here. Everyone's been telling you, go to the Healing Church. Oh, Pale Blood. I don't fucking know what the hell that is, but it has blood in it, so the Healing Church is where you will go to figure that shit out. And just before that, you may have gone to Old Yarnum, and maybe on your 15th playthrough of this game, you have realized what the game is trying to tell you, because the storytelling in this game is dog shit. And you learn what the Healing Church was doing and all that. You get context to it. You were also in maybe the Hypogean Jail. It's such a stupid name. Just call it what it is. Underground Jail. Underground Prison. That's it. That's what it's named in Japanese. I don't know why you had to make up this name for it. Frog Nation or whoever did the translation for Bloodborne. But you may have been even there and oh shit, there's rituals and whatever going on. And on your 15 billionth playthrough of this game, you may have finally realized what the environmental storytelling is trying to tell you, once you discern it from all the reused assets and random ass bullshit that they had to put in because the game was cut and redone 15 times over before it finally shipped. So you have context, you have story to everything, and then you come in, she's praying there, her prayer is, she's the only person in there, she's praying, you're like, okay. There is no boss fog wall yet. So you don't know. Maybe I walk up to this weird ass NPC and they will tell me what the fuck pale blood is. You know, if you were omnipotent and you realize that the whole point of Bloodborne, the whole reason why you're doing anything is because of this pale blood, and you weren't just killing more bosses, you know, like every single person does when they play this fucking game, because the storytelling is dog shit. I need to reiterate that a couple of times. No, it just treats you like a smart person. No. It's hiding behind environmental storytelling so that it doesn't anger people who are too stupid to understand the message of this story. Whatever. You go in, the cutscene plays, Vicar Amelia goes full on, I don't even know what it is, like some husky? Some weird husky, probably. You know, they got some weird dogs out there in Yharnam. And then the boss fight starts. And then in the third phase, she fully heals. You're like, what the fuck? Visually, she's also really great. A blinded beast happens quite often in this game because Miyazaki is obsessed with this blinding yourself so you can gain higher understanding and the hypocrisy of this as a whole. But it's a blinded beast. It's blinded by the garb that the non-beast version of Amelia was wearing, and she's constantly clutching some sort of gold pendant. Epic. Just SS+. What's there to say? It's the best boss fight in Bloodborne. Not DLC not included. No one will top it. Spoiler alert, no boss will top it. Amygdala. One of the builds I used for capturing footage for this boss fight is a strength arcane build. So obviously, I know my shit when it comes to Amygdala. In case you don't know, Amygdala drops the best blood gems for this type of build. Oh my god, I hate this boss fight so much. It's so ass. Okay, that's a bit mean. That's a bit biased. I'd say just poorly executed. Amygdala, you know how I said Bloodstarved Beast is a slow boss in practice. In theory, isn't supposed to be. In practice, it very much is. Amygdala is probably the slowest boss fight in all of Bloodborne. You can't start attacking it, because then it will do a combo which will insta-kill you. I mean, I'm talking about the dungeon Amygdala, but we might as well list it because the real, quote-unquote, real Amygdala in the Nightmare Frontier is dead before it gets to do literally anything. Terrible boss fight. And I'm not just saying that because every time I run into it with shitloads of blood gems or whatever, like, straight up, who gets to the Nightmare Frontier with a weapon that's below +6? Who? No one. No one. Amygdala is instantly dead. Just absolutely. There's even a blood gem farm throughout the entirety of the Nightmare Frontier. There is no way you do not have enough damage to insta-kill Amygdala. Just stun every single limb, hit the head a couple times. Whoa, that's a lot of damage, and it's dead. Worthless boss fight. I'm gonna spend so much time talking about Amygdala. This is not good. I do not want to capture any more footage of me fighting Amygdala. I hate this boss fight so much. It's so slow. Basically, what you do, the strategy, in case you're gonna go farm it for the blood gems, the strategy is you get some sort of weapon which can hit overhead, hit the head. You run in, you wait for it to do anything. You start running away because the wind-up for most of its attacks is so slow that you can just straight up run and not even dodge through it. It will do the attack. You will run up to it. You will hit the arms, maybe get a hit on the head. Rinse and repeat. That's the entire boss fight. In the third phase, you walk under it to hit the legs, So you can stagger the legs so it lowers its arms and you can hit the arms. It's sure, I know what you're saying, but there's so many ways of doing damage to this boss. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you can do this build can do that, and cool. But none of them have to do it. You can just do the exact same strategy on every build, no matter what your build is. Blood Tinge to fucking full-on item arcane build. And it's the same boss fight. And it's the same uneventful, boring boss fight, which if it hits you once, will extend its combo, hit you with another one of its 7 arms, and insta-kill you. So you can't even dare to get more aggressive, because if you get hit once, you're done. In the dungeons, by the way. Not the Nightmare Frontier one. Who cares about that one? Literally, who cares? That's why I'm talking about the dungeon one, because if we were counting only the bosses in the base game, not counting DLC or dungeons, then I would just go, Amygdala, it's dead. It's dead as soon as you walk into the arena. Okay, moving on. By the way, did you guys know that amygdala is what you call that part of the brain which is associated with fear and whatever? Yeah. I'm a Bloodborne lore expert, in case you didn't know. Fuck this boss fight. Straight up terrible. This fight would have been fine. Or fine. I don't know about fine. But again, the first phase, the idea is, oh, he's been dead for who knows how long and he only just now woke up. Give him a minute so all of his attacks are spells, because he's recovering from his 100-year nap sesh. But Jesus Christ, could you have given him some sort of spell which carries him behind you? How many times does it happen to you that in the first phase you just push Mother Logaris into a corner and he's just sitting there spamming the same 2 spells over and over again, and you can't do much about it but run in and out, hitting him on the way? Like, what a dog shit fucking... What an awful first phase. Absolute trash. The second phase is a little better, but not by much. It is a very fast, aggressive, spamming attacks, you know, gorilla attacker, monkey brain attacks. It sometimes does the attack where it plunges his other sword into the ground to make this weird other sword shit fly into you. You can shoot it with a pistol. That's cool. You can also stagger him by breaking his poise, which is also cool. You can do that once. So there's some dynamicism to this boss fight only in the second phase. The first phase is dog shit. Like, seriously, just a spell which teleports him behind you when he's in a corner. All you had to do. That's all you had to do. Why? Why? Whatever. He's a visually appealing boss fight, but not very mechanically complex. For the one game where being mechanically complex is very much necessary for the boss fights, because just extreme aggression is not rewarded in this game. Well, the rallying system allows you to be more aggressive. Bro, what weapon are you using that the rallying system rewards you for being aggressive? The Hunter's Axe? The Burial Blade? The Holy Moonlight Sword? Other than that, I don't know what you're using. Oh, right, the Ludwig's Holy Blade. Of course that's what you're fucking using. Aggressive player. Yeah. Masterpiece. Yeah. Bloodborne's a masterpiece when you use the most broken weapon in the game. Wow! I don't have to even pay attention to anything. The game just looks cool and I feel cool while playing it. Damn. It was that simple, guys. That's all you had to do. Fuck's sakes. But yeah, Smarter Logarius, I would still put him... the first phase is really bad. It really ruins it. And the second phase is sort of kind of restrictive. Like, you have to play by his rules a lot. You can't really do your own thing. I would still put him in average. He's okay. His story, you know what? Yeah, let's put him. Story carries it. If it wasn't for the whole executioners and Canehurst thing, no. Let's put him in B. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Fuck that dog shit first phase. It's trash. Shadows of Yharnam, the evil version of the KKK. Yeah, this is another one of those bosses that sucks. No matter how you spin it, either you do it the way it was intended, you summon 2 other cooperators, so that each person in the boss fight is fighting one specific Shadow of Yharnam, or you do it the other way, where you're alone. Neither one of these is fun. The summoning cooperators, I mean, sure, you got buddies to play, so it's a little fun, but the lag in this game with the network is I mean, like, you can see it for yourself. If you do it alone, it's basically a whole bunch of run and gunning, hit and running. Just running around hitting the one guy, waiting for that one guy to get separated from the other shadows, and then running in again, hitting him a couple times, rinse and repeat. No matter what part of the phase you are in, you're doing this over and over again. Their attacks, the way they fight you, the way that they are different from one another, completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter, because just who cares? It's just the Shadows of Yharnam. They get stun-locked to death. That's their gimmick. The fact they can summon snakes, that's cool, but again, it's another one of those, this only works when you're playing with other people, because when you're playing with your buddies, everyone is fighting one shadow, which means everyone is fighting one regular-ass enemy with a slightly inflated health bar and nothing interesting about them. And while you're fighting them in the third phase, when one summons the snakes, the person that's fighting them is supposed to call out, oh, this guy's summoning snakes, so there's blah blah. Yeah? But it doesn't matter, because the snakes don't hit anyone, they deal 0 damage, and the dude will be fucking dead before it happens. When you're playing with other bros, one of the shadows just dies, so that another shadow is being ganked at that point by 2 people, which means they will die very quickly too, which means the third one, who is probably dead by that point anyway. Like, it's not balanced well. It's not thought of well. Yeah, sure, there's the gravestones you can use to separate them, but they're still just regular-ass enemies with 3 health bars. 3 inflated health bars. No interesting attacks. No spice or anything. Like, the dude with the candle, what's his gimmick? What's the dude with the candle's gimmick? Not the one with the mace. The dude with the candle, what's his gimmick? Huh? What's his gimmick? He spits fire every now and then? He does fire damage? Big hoopla, who cares? He never does anything. He gets staggered to death because they have no poise. Poorly executed. A speed bump of a boss fight. Now, this fight is... it's a bit overhated every now and then. I think it's pretty fine. It's another one of those hit and run types of bosses. Like, sure, you can kill all of the spiders individually and waste your time doing that, or you can just run into Rom, hit her once, and then run away through the spiders. I feel like that's the whole... supposed to be the gimmick of the whole fight, which is fine, I guess. Like, as a gimmick, it's fine. In practice, it's just repetitive, boring, and doesn't matter what your build is, it will do the same thing no matter what. But anyway, enough of that. Why does Rom not have her legs? Why does Rom not have her legs? At the Altar of Despair, I think it's called, you find Rom's corpse. It has to be Rom's corpse. It makes no sense that someone else would have transformed into the same exact thing as Rom. It just doesn't. Especially considering that both Ebrietas and Rom can be found in the dungeons, so... bruh. It's Rom. It has to be Rom. Somehow, the choir, after you killed Rom, just snuck into Bergenworth and was like, ah, oh, fuck, no way, they killed the spider, shit. Alright, well, get her corpse to Ebrietas, we'll figure out something. And then all of them were scorched by the moon presence, so L. But anyway, Rom, when dead, has her legs. Rom, alive, does not have her legs. Why is this? Even in the concept art, she does not have her legs. I have a bit of a tinfoil hat theory that Rom was, at one point in the thought process of the developers, supposed to have her legs, and similar to the limb-breaking system of every other boss, you could cut all of them off. They would take the same amount of damage as her head, but you would cut all of them off so that you can then finally make some space and get into the juicy, fleshy bits of Rom so you can do real damage. And while you're doing all of that, you're getting pestered by spiders. But then they realized, nah, that has too much sauce for a boss fight. Take the legs off. Take the legs off, make her boring, and now we're left with this. In the dungeons, the fight gets a little better because she's actually threatening Rom herself. And the rooms in which you fight Rom are usually a lot more cramped, smaller, but with pillars that can act as defense. It's a little better in the dungeons, but it's still not a very fun fight. And again, as a strength arcane build, Rom is the other boss that drops the blood gems for strength arcane builds. So, yeah, I know how to fight her pretty well, but that doesn't mean I like her. That doesn't mean I like her. I'd still say, like, poorly executed. Celestial Emissary, oh no. It doesn't get better. It does not get better. I was serious when I said Vicar Amelia is the last good boss of base game Bloodborne. I'm not fucking with you. It does not get better. Well, what's there to say? I think the clip you see of me fighting the Celestial Emissary, not to toot my horn in any way, but I think what you're seeing right now in the video is the most interesting way you can think of killing the Celestial Emissary. I think you can also use the Shaman Bone Blade to kill the Celestial Emissary, which is fun. But other than that, like, bro, like, they didn't even try. Why is this a boss fight? One of them gets big. Big hoopla. Do some of them maybe cast spells? Or, I don't know, do something where they lunge at you from a distance, but they cannot fight up front or whatever, so they... No, none of that. None of that. It's just a horde of idiots, and one of those idiots is the one you have to kill. And then in the second phase, he makes it very evident which one you have to kill. This... I don't get it sometimes, you know, from software. Why... You have me stumped. I think I need to become a celestial emissary myself to figure out what the fuck was the... What were the inner machinations which spawned this boss fight? I really don't get it, you know? It's, it's shit. Ebrietas, daughter of the cosmos. Ebrietas, more like my wife. That's right. Say hello to my wife. You know how they keep making fun of people for like... men be like, okay guys, hear me out, and it's the most conventionally attractive female ever known to man. Hear me out on this one, guys. Hear me out on this one. Absolute celestial goodness. Yummy. She's a sad girl, bro. She's a sad girl. You know, there's nothing better in the world than making a sad person happy, bro. That's a big victory just waiting for you to take. She's literally waiting there at the altar. She's waiting for you at the altar, bro. Take her. I'm not kidding, by the way. I would marry Ebrietas. She's my wife. But as a boss fight, she's average. She's not bad. She has some interesting aspects to her where her swings, some of them hit twice, so you have to be a little bit more clever with your dodges. You don't just brainlessly dodge in one direction. You have to think about it a little. You don't also have to dodge because they don't have all that much range, so you can just run out of it. There's also various ways you can break the limbs, if that's your cup of joe, or you can stay behind her, you pervert, or you can hit the head like a real Bloodborne gamer, like a real Nightmare Blood Nightmare gamer. You can keep hitting the head. The second phase, something kind of interesting happens where she creates an aura which damages both her and you. Weird. It's almost like as the fight progresses, she is forcing herself to be more aggressive against you, which I guess is fitting for someone who doesn't really want to fight. The magic which she casts eventually in the second phase, it's like, whatever, you know, a little fun, little rhythm dance you have to do against it. It will insta-kill you if you do get hit by it. But other than that, it's not that impressive. Her charge, I mean, that's the big outlier, alright? Very difficult to dodge. Stupidly difficult to dodge. And because we're playing Bloodborne, we clown in this motherfucker. Take your ass back to normal games with normal counter damage. If you get hit by the charge while dodging, you're dead instantly. Full health, half health in the dungeons, don't matter, you're dead. She also spits and causes frenzy. She has a grab, I think? Yeah, she does. She has a grab. She feels very finely paced. Like, I cannot really complain. And also, she looks unique. I mean, the way she looks, that's one of the main reasons why I want to marry her. I mean, goddamn, what a hottie. What smoking hot wife material, am I right? Anyway, I'll stop, I'm sorry. But other than that, she's average. She doesn't really stand out. Despite looking very unique, it still feels like the average, you know, regular boss fight. Still feels like you're fighting someone smaller, swifter, with a weapon in one hand. It still feels like you're fighting a hunter, almost, while fighting Ebrietas. You have to be on the same sort of mind space while fighting her, as opposed to it being like a real beast boss fight, like for example Melia, where there are various strategies to it. Anyway, wife. Right wife, life good. Make sad wife happy, life even better. In the dungeons, it really doesn't change that much. I mean, she's already a late game boss, so her hitting you when you have only 50% health doesn't matter that much. It's still very much an insta-kill. Like, you still don't want to get hit by her anyway. The One Reborn. I guess I'll have to re-explain why the Tower Knight is a terrible gimmick for a boss fight. It's literally just the Tower Knight, but unlike in Demon's Souls, you can actually hit the boss and deal damage to them, which I feel like is actually better. Because this means that there is something to take your attention away from the archers, so that the archers are actually a threat. In this case, it's the Bell Maidens throwing fireballs at you. But still, just having archers on the battlements which you run around killing, that doesn't do anything. That's not a clever design for a boss fight. It's awful. It's a waste of time. You're just running around wasting time. Because once you do beat them, the boss fight becomes exponentially less interesting. Like, it's just give up on this idea. Just give it up. As for the boss itself, this boss has a limb breaking system. Or more like, well, you can break the individual limbs, but you can also just hit center of, like, where it's, from which it's sprouting on the One Reborn, and that will stagger it as well. Then once you hit that, you go and hit the head, Tower Knight. But it has two heads, and you can break the limb, whatever. Doesn't matter, none of that matters, because one, the boss fight is piss easy, it hardly ever hits you. Second of all, it's very brittle. You're at the fucking end game. And even without the max bestest of the bestest blood gems, it still keel hauls over and dies very, 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 very quickly. Also, if you have any form of range, you can just ignore all gimmicks of this boss fight and just hit the body and do ridiculous amounts of damage and stagger it and then do even more damage when it falls over. Some bosses just have mechanics where you can cheese them, and other bosses they have way too many mechanics to the point where it's not even a boss anymore, it's just a speed bump, and the One Reborn is exactly that. Maybe if you're playing at blood level 4, then this boss fight gets slightly interesting, but at that point it's just, again, at that point you have to waste time constantly on every attempt just killing the Bell Maidens. It's not fun. And I don't even know what the Bell Maidens are doing for the boss fight other than shooting the fireballs. I think they're healing him. Maybe they're charging some super attack on him. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The boss is dead before it gets to do anything anyway. Also, in terms of story, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this One Reborn? Who is he? Is this Mikolash? Is this Lawrence? Why are they doing these necromantic rituals? Is this some sort of great one? Doesn't look like it. Looks like just some regular guy. Who is he? Who the fuck is this guy? Get out of here. Fuck this guy. Bad. Terrible, boring. My ranking is going to be, well, you know me. I put the Fool's Idol as S tier in Demon Souls. I put what other gimmick boss did I put as really good? I don't remember. I don't fucking know anymore about this bullshit. The Dragon Riders in Dark Souls 2. Both of them. All three of them I put in SS+. Remember that? Bet you don't. Anyway, Mikolash as a puzzle gimmick fight actually works really well in my opinion. Story setup is good. The fight, you can engage with it where you can lead Mikolash by running into different rooms. You can learn the layout of the arena. You can... what else? You can... you don't have to kill the enemies because they keep spawning infinitely, so you don't have to worry about that. Unless your build just does so much damage that there is an actual benefit to killing the enemies. Your ranged build, cool, you can just hit Mikolash from range. You use some fucking, I don't know. There's just ways you can approach this boss fight, and it's unique, and it is demanding of you to do interesting things. I do have 2 issues with this boss fight. One of them is there's items in the arena. I'm not entirely sure if that's a good idea. Like, on one hand, yeah, good, put something in the arena to make sure that there is a reward for exploring it, other than just figuring out what's the best route to trick Mikolash into getting into a corner so you can beat the shit out of him. But also, I'm like, by putting in items every time you replay this boss fight, there's a very specific route that you take to get all the important items every time. But I don't know, it kind of levels itself out. Second problem is Mikolash really needed at least like 2 more extra hits. Like some other spells, I don't know, you could have made up some new spells yourself, or maybe he could have had some form of grab or whatever, where he grabs you and then the skeletons do damage to you, like the witches or something. Like, just a couple extra things to spice it up. He doesn't need too much, I get that. The whole point is, once he's in a corner, in a matter of seconds it's supposed to be over. In the final phase, either you die or he dies. The whole point of the boss is controlling the way he runs. But also, there's one other problem, and I don't know if this is true or if I just get lucky every time. But if you chase Mikolash for long enough, like a brainless idiot, eventually he will, on his own, run into a corner. I'm not okay with that. I would have much more preferred if it was just straight up, if you run straight behind him, no strategy, nothing, he will never run into the corner. You have to disengage, figure out how the arena works, and lure him there. It's not that hard. I mean, it's literally just making him turn a corner, not turning that corner yourself, turning back, going, and then from the other side just ambushing him, and he will run into the corner. Like, it's not that difficult. Come on, From Software. I know the players who play these games are really fucking stupid, me included, by the way, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't figure this out, okay? We're not that stupid. Also, another little nitpick is the dialogue has to be clicked through in order to progress it. Should have been just in the background. Just a minor nuisance that ruins it. The dialogue is really good. People complain. I heard some people say that the voice acting of this is bad. Like, bro, no, he fucking killed it. Whoever it is, he fucking killed, man. Killed it. I love it. The voice cracks during the scream and everything. Like, this is a nightmare. It's supposed to be insane. It's supposed to be kind of crazy. Crazy isn't cool, guys. Crazy is fucking silly and stupid. And this fits. I mean, like, what did you expect from the leader of some school of necromancers and eldritch cultist fucking students? What did you expect from the leader of the nerds? Do you expect him to pull out a katana and insta-kill you? Get out of here, get real. This is the perfect way to depict that boss fight.
To make a move to a town that's right for me.
Okay, so wet nurse. It's just, let's just put her there already. You know, get that slog out of the way. It's just another one of those time waster boss fights. Starts attacking, does not stop attacking, keeps moving forward. You run up behind it, hit it a bunch of times, turns around, maybe does one other attack, but other than that keeps doing the same exact thing over and over again. The second phase, when it starts summoning the clones, that's really cool. But I feel like the entire second phase should have just been that exact thing. But the clones, like, if you hit them, they will instantly disappear. Or there's a bigger, like, space between the different clones attacking you and whatever. So that while the wet nurse is running around like a fucking RC car just spamming attacks, you have to manage the clones and then get in behind her and hit her. That would have been a cool boss fight. But no. No. There's just one attack. One part of the boss fight which is good, and the rest of it is absolute. Just 5 more minutes. Is it 13:45 yet? No. Then fuck off. Like, what is this boss fight? It's dog shit. Ludwig the Holy Blade. So, before the DLC, we did not have a lot of good beast boss fights in the base game. We did have Vicar Amelia, but the rest were very lackluster. Where is it? The Bloodstarved Beast, just a button masher, 90% of its attacks miss. Dark Beast Parl, usually you're either over leveled, and if you're on level, it's not that hard to kill it. And then what you have left is only stuff in the DLC. Ebrietos, like at max, is somewhat of a beast adjacent boss fight with its limb breaking system, but it's nothing crazy. The one Reborn, I mean, the less said about him, the better. So we didn't have any good beast boss fights unless you went into the Chalice dungeons, and even if you did, spoiler alert for the Chalice dungeon bosses, there's like one, maybe two, which there's two which are okay, but only one of them is really like standout good beast boss fight. So the DLC obviously had to fix this. This is the beast hunting game. You know, we need to fix this. So, obviously, it gave us Ludwig the Holy Blade. The first phase, sort of interestingly, it plays kind of similar to like modern day good dragon boss fights in From Software games. Like, keyword good, alright? Good. We're talking about like Bale, Midir, although Midir has too much health, and like the average dragon bosses, the regular dragon bosses, not the ancient dragons in Elden Ring. Those are dog shit. Because you have to hit the head. Though you don't have to, but hitting the head, like, it will stun Ludwig, unlike everything else. It will stun Ludwig. If you break the head, you get a riposte. And also just hitting the head does more damage, and you're also the safest if you're hitting the head. Although you're in front of him, and a lot of his attacks are like, you know, best evaded by running under them behind him. Standing in front of Ludwig still, like, it feels the safest. The camera is the most favorable for you, and just the attacks are not that hard, that difficult to dodge through. You can of course just still break the limbs, which is great. He has a lot of limbs, though I'm not entirely sure if each individual leg on his backside, on his behind, actually counts as an individual like thing for you to break. I'm pretty sure it's like just one limb on one side and another limb on the other side, and maybe you can break the arms. I have no idea how the fuck you would ever pull that off. But still, very, very good boss fight, the first phase. It's got like the right amount of attacks and combos, which is to say it doesn't have many combos. Most of its attacks are just like one kind of scary, dangerous attacks that maybe gets followed up by one more finisher attack. But other than that, he does not waste your time with 15 different combos that take 3 years for him to finish, and you're just standing there in the corner staring at him like, yeah, you keep going, keep hitting that corner, Ludwig, good job. He doesn't do that. Big plus. Also, his hitboxes are pretty tight. I mean, Bloodborne is the game where hitboxes really have to be tight as balls, because if they're not, and I get hit while I'm dodging by some goofy hitbox, which does happen like kinda often in Bloodborne, but still, if I do get hit by that goofy hitbox, I'm taking double damage because haha funny counter damage. But whatever, Ludwig doesn't have that. His hitboxes are quite tight. He feels the first phase feels very well paced, so a pretty good beast boss fight for the first phase. The second phase, obviously, big hoopla, it's the Moonlight Greatsword. Honestly, another really good phase. Why? Because again, he doesn't have 15 different combos that take 3 years for him to finish. I think like the longest attack chain he can do in the second phase is 3 attacks? Maybe 4? And a lot of his finishers where he just lights up the sword and does a big fuck off slash, they usually come from one side or the other, so you don't even have to dodge, you can just strafe him to the side and hit him. Amazing. Genius, I love it whenever a boss fight just has this as like the core way that they want you to dodge. Like, don't waste time doing the rolling animation when you know you're safe if you just strafe. And if you strafe, then you regenerate stamina, you have an opening for an attack, for a really strong attack that can stagger the boss, allowing you to do even more damage. And you're safe because the boss won't hit you because he's well designed. The hitboxes are tight and shit. It's really good. The big fuck off insta-kill laser beam attack, don't really care for that, but sure, whatever. I like that it is designed in a sort of like, first there's a big fuck off explosion that makes you go away from him, and then you have to close the distance and hug his ass. It's at least well designed, so there's that. So, I think I would put him in S tier as a really good boss fight. The story of it is also pretty well set up. Him just sort of this delusional knight, a symbol of how the church is just going backwards in terms of just the whole irony of the church of it came to Yharnam, we're gonna take you forward, we're gonna elevate our mind, and then the main guy that solves the church's problems is less advanced than the guy that came before him, who is still around, by the way, and is the only reason why the problem that is happening in Bloodborne gets solved in the end anyway. But Ludwig the Holy Blade, this like knight who probably was always going on his hunts mounted. He's fused with a horse. It literally is half horse, half man. Like, he's literally fused with it. Sort of like a I dare say that's a pretty big confirmation that he was literally riding around with the Moonlight Greatsword on his horse, chopping down beasts. That's quite a fitting image. Imagine if you're getting attacked by a beast and this is what saves you. Some chivalric knight, like you're gonna hand over your worldly possessions to the church pretty quickly at that point. So this thing being turned into a beast, and of course he's the horse demon from Buddhist hell and whatever, all that imagery. I don't fucking give a shit about that. Oh, look at all this imagery. Cool. Are you doing anything with it, or is it just literally style over substance? Usually with FromSoft, it's just style over substance. Oh, look at Elden Ring. Oh, the fingers, they look like mushrooms, and the tree is this and that. Okay, is it supposed to mean anything, or are you just like, I thought this was cool, so I put it in my game, tee-hee-hee. Usually it's the latter. But in terms of like story and everything and the boss fight, he's really good. I do, however, have one little gripe about Ludwig. That being balance. The DLC is right after Amelia, which just, when you're supposed to enter From Software DLCs, and the scaling of all of that is always so ridiculous. Remember that thing they said about Ashes of Ariandel? Like, if you want to proceed with this DLC, first you have to beat Lothric Castle. The fuck? You mean beat the entire game? Are you insane? What exactly do you mean by beat Lothric Castle? Like, the Consumed Garden, the Dragonslayer armor, or just all the way through to Lorien and Lothric? What exactly do you mean From Software? I don't know. Maybe it's like a secret fourth thing that I didn't tell you about. Like, fuck off. So you go in after Amelia. You can upgrade one weapon to the max in like the regular area before Ludwig. You know, yes, that area before Ludwig where there are like 15 different new weapons for you to find and use. Various types of which fit into various different builds, so there's a very, very high likelihood that you will find a new weapon in the DLC that you want to try out, and you cannot because you do not have the materials for it. Because either you have just beaten Amelia, you have a +6 weapon, you're going into the DLC, you get like, what, 5 chunks? 6? Before Ludwig? Like 6 chunks? That's bugger all for upgrading a weapon. You can literally only upgrade 2 weapons to +7 with that. That's ridiculous. Imagine fighting Ludwig with 2 +7 weapons. Or you do the other thing, where you beat the entire game and then you go into the DLC, at which point either your build sucks, which in other words means your build has no health, so it doesn't matter how difficult or complex the boss fights are, they sneeze on you and you're dead because you are bad at making builds in this game. You don't know how to play these games. I'm sorry, but L, level up your health. L. Or you have a good build, you have 50 vigor like you should have, and you do pretty good damage. Maybe you have a couple average tier blood gems from the dungeons, and you absolutely wipe the floor with this boss fight. Like, From Software, stop it. Fucking stop it with these upgrade material famine bullshit that you do with every single game. What is the point of leveling up if the main way you gain strength is by upgrading weaponry? So at that point you are forced to just feast or famine us with this progress through levels to get your upgrade materials. You want to farm them? Too bad, bro, because this is not one of those open world type games or like Dark Souls 1 where you can go wherever the fuck you want and go to the farming spot for the late game upgrade materials like as soon as you start playing the game. No, this is an enclosed linear dogshit game where you have to wait until you beat 15 different bosses before you can finally start farming blood chunks. Maybe. Maybe. It's just terrible. It kills the entire, like... it just clashes with everything. I just mentioned, like, you get 15 different... Okay, that's an exaggeration. You get, like, 3 different new weapons in the DLC, and you have fuck all to upgrade them with. This just applies to every game in general. Bloodborne to a little lesser extent, because there's not a lot of weapons, but the other games, like, there's so many weapons you find all the time, and you cannot try them out, because trying them out means you have to level up, or you have to upgrade them, and to upgrade them you have to spend shitloads of whatever the currency in the current game is, or shitloads of hours wasted farming boring ass enemies for upgrade materials. It's terrible, and goes straight against what From Software has clearly proven time and time again is their design philosophy with various boss fights overall. Are you struggling with a boss fight? Go back, find a new weapon. This one works better with it. It does extra damage against this type of enemy, which is exactly what the boss fight is. So then use that. No, you can't. You can't upgrade the fucking weapon because you don't have enough upgrade materials. And Ludwig is the perfect example of this. Either you go there after Amelia, you go in with an underpowered weapon because the game is just designed in a way that you most likely will. You will get stuck on the boss fight, deal fuck all damage, and it doesn't matter if you know how to break his limbs and whatever. He's just way too hard than they were clearly planning for him to be. It's just straight up bad design, and it will never change, ever. Yeah, haha, funny joke, right? The living failures. And it's also a gimmick fight that's a gank and it's super easy. Lol, epic, funny. Is this some sort of inside joke? Probably not. The more and more you play these From Software games, the more and more you realize, oh, right, like, even Pinwheel was probably meant to be taken seriously. Like, yeah, he's named after this, some Japanese thing where you, like, someone else is, like, under a robe with you, and they're your arms and you're the head and whatever, and haha, funny. But no, clearly, like, Pinwheel was meant to be taken seriously as a boss fight, because you see every other boss fight like it, like Pinwheel, these gimmicky ganks, and like they keep doing them. Alright, like, fool me once, shame on me, but like, at this point it's like, fool me 15 times, like, I don't know, bro. I think you don't know how to make gimmick gank boss fights, bro. They really thought they were cooking with this boss fight, didn't they? Oh. Half the enemies in this boss fight are gonna be charging you, attacking you with really strong attacks, and the other half are gonna throw projectiles at you from afar. Yeah, we're so smart with this. Bro, no you're not. You wanna make a gank gimmick boss fight good? Okay, grow a pair and make it complicated. This is so simple. None of these Souls games are the types of games where the developers outsmart you with the design of their boss fight. That never happens. It's either they catch you with an ambush, at which point you die before you are allowed to react, and that is how you die, because if you are allowed to react, you will very easily be just more than capable of dealing with the ambush in that way. Or the boss fight is either so hard so swift that it tests your reaction times constantly over a long period of time, where you have to be patient. It's a test of patience. So either it ambushes you, it surprises you, it does a jump scare, haha, Five Nights at Freddy's type of shit, or it's a test of micro patience. That's how these games work. That's how these games have always worked, and every time they try something else, it usually does not work. Living Failures is the exact example of this. This fight is too simple. First of all, the ranged enemies and the melee rushdown members of the Living Failures should have looked differently from one another. Secondly, in the second phase, the meteors should just be flowing down constantly, but at a slower pace, so that you just have to pay attention to it, but it's not like you're completely stun-locked and cannot do anything because you're constantly dodging the meteors. Thirdly, there should have been more different types of living failures. Maybe one that doesn't attack but is so defensive and tanky that it basically blocks the other living failures from taking damage. Another one should have been like stunning you or something. Or maybe like, I don't know what else it would have done. Maybe created some platforms and some shit. Like, think about this. Make it more complex. This is too simple, too boring. I do like that in the second phase, the meteors do fall every single time from the exact same side every single time. The arena is also designed very well, just a big like barrier that you can use for defense, but also they can use for defense against you if you're a range build. You can use it to split them apart if you're getting chased by two. Like, everything is set up, but the boss fight itself is too simple. Simple. Too simple. Sometimes naive, maybe. Yeah, you're not cooking. The same exact thing applies to the Witches of Hamvik and the Celestial Emissary and a lot of the other gank gimmick boss fights that exist. Except for one, but we'll get to that one. They're too simple. You need to cook more. Shadows of Yharnam, the exact same thing. Oh, it's the online PvP area. You're gonna summon bros for this boss fight. Okay, but when you summon your bros for the boss fight, like, each and every single one of you is just fighting a regular ass enemy with a bloated health bar. There's nothing interesting happening here. Same exact thing applies to the living failures. They're not interesting enough. One of the reasons why Ornstein and Smo were so good is because they kept complementing each other. They had an arena which fit them, and also they themselves were a complex enough enemy. And also they were busted as fuck. Ornstein to this day keeps canceling his charge and like in fucking milliseconds keeps going with his animation because it's broken for some reason to this day. I don't even want to know how anyone would even attempt to try and fix this. Modders or whoever is making Dark Souls 1 remake, which may or may not be happening, I don't know. I do not envy you. I don't even want to know what exactly is broken about Ornstein's charge attack that you would have to fix it later. Like, I don't even want to know. It's crazy ass spaghetti code. Lady Maria, oh Lady Maria. When I first played Bloodborne, guys, story time, which is good because I have so much footage of me fighting Lady Maria. Story time, back in the year of 2016, 17, question mark, I bought a PlayStation 4. Not because I wanted to play Bloodborne, I didn't really give a fuck about Bloodborne, but I wanted to play Dark Souls 3. Yeah. Oh, how the turntables. I wanted to play Dark Souls 3, but I didn't have it. I had to wait for, me to get enough finances myself to buy Dark Souls 3 with all of its DLCs. Bloodborne, however, was for like 500 crowns, which in American terms is like 15 to $20, by the way. $15 to $20. That's how much Bloodborne cost with its DLC. And I had to buy it because I had no other fucking game to play on the PS4. So I bought it and I played it. And back then, when I got to Lady Maria, I didn't really think much of this boss fight. Kind of a, parry bait. She's just really quick, like... just spams attacks, does like oh, now her attacks do blood, and oh, now they do fire, and blah blah blah. It felt like she was even too fast for Bloodborne itself, but also she didn't do enough damage to ever kill me, so she was kind of just like an annoying little mosquito when I fought her back then. Spoiler alert, more or less my opinion has not changed of Maria in terms of the boss fight itself. But, as I played Bloodborne, as I experienced what other people thought of the game, my opinion of Maria shifted. Soon, Maria became this, oh, she's such a badass and sad character. Oh my god, she killed herself. Oh, German, you fumbled this baddie so bad. Oh, you're so stupid, German. Then I dropped Bloodborne because I thought this game sucks, which it does, lol. All of the From Software games sucks. They're all bad. They're all shit. Grow a pair. Play a real game like... I'm looking at my collection right now. Play a real game like, for example... Fucking, I don't know. For Honor. And then, later on, I slowly started discovering the real story of Bloodborne. The story of Bloodborne which actually made sense because there was evidence within the game, as opposed to some ancient fucking nihilistic text written by some Greek dickhead in the year 15,000, which explains what exactly was going through the mythical, enigmatic mind of Michael Zaki himself. Now, instead, these videos showed me the scene of Queen Yarnum with a C-section staring into the moon while a baby is crying in the background, and I sort of realized, I see. So this is what the game is about. Well, now this shit makes more sense. And in this phase, which is sort of the phase that I'm still in right now, I look at Maria. I look at the research hall and how all of the patients talk about her, and what the patients are turned into, what the healing church did to said patients, how it got to the place where it is, where it could create such an insane thing as the research hall is, and the massive cathedral which stands and looms over the entirety of Yarnum itself. I look at all of it. I look at Maria killing herself in the end, not being able to take just the thing which forced her to stay in the research hall in the first place, that being the murder of Mother Cos, and then later her just being constantly bombarded by the stupefying inability to do anything against what the healing church is doing, like the constant cycle of just nothing is changing, things are only getting worse, that she kept seeing in the research hall, and that being then twisted 15 times over by the nightmare, and her being stuck in it, in her suicide chair at the clock tower, locked away from anyone so they wouldn't have to see Maria kill herself and lose all faith in their existence while they're already getting experimented on by the healing church. I look at all of that, and I slowly start to realize what exactly was the whole point of Maria. And how this supreme badass hunter from a noble line of shitloads of history which comes from this, that, and the other, and how all of that just means fuck all in the face of just this. And you can just imagine me pointing to the empty ass research hall with the patients looking for their eyes in the puddle. And I'm like, god damn. Sometimes From Software really hits with their storytelling. Other times they're like meandering around, trying to say something but not really saying anything at all because they're too scared of confronting their player base. And other times we play a game like Bloodborne where they're literally just straight up the fucking Queen Yarnum with the C-section in front of her own baby, just praying for something, and you're like, yeah, this game is totally about beasts and Lovecraft and horrors beyond human imagination, right? Am I right, guys? Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so story amazing, but it's also the only good thing about Maria, in my opinion. Let's now get into the boss fight itself. The first phase, absolute peak. In my opinion, really, really good. Why? Because she is basically Gascoigne, but a lot more like... Gascoigne is like, first phase he has the axe and the pistol, second phase he extends the axe and it's a different moveset, it's slower, blah 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 blah. Maria is like switching in between her transformation modes all the time, and if she's transformed in the twin blade phase, she has a pistol and whatever. That's all cool, but all of that pales in what the boss does to you as it attacks is not that's one piece of the puzzle for a good boss fight. Another thing is, how does the boss evade or react to your offense? Maria does not have poise in this phase, so she gets hit and staggered, which means she now has to do something as a response to her getting stun locked, which, in case you haven't played the Souls games, for some reason and you're watching this video, that happens quite a lot to bosses and enemies all the fucking time. They get stun locked to death. So Maria has to respond, she has to react and adapt to you playing, which is good. That means you have control in the boss fight, and you and her are both like adapting to the situation at hand. Makes it feel a lot more organic as a fight. She either dodges away or she does a hyper armored like charge attack, which you're either stupid and you're bashing into her and you get hit by it, and then she follows up with a pistol and finishing you off while you're trying to go away and heal. Genius. In her like dual wielding phase, she closes the distance very quickly. She has long extended combos which you can basically stop by dodging through them, hitting her, forcing her into the mix-up of, is she gonna dodge away and start a different combo, or is she just gonna do the hyper armor attack, or is she gonna do something other fucking crazy thing? I don't know. When she's using the twin blade, she doesn't attack as often, but when she does, it's like a confirmed combo. Like, she hits you once and then she does like a 3-hit confirmed combo to hit you, so you have to like think on your feet. Right now it's not as safe to be aggressive against her as it was when she was dual wielding. But all of that goes right to the shitter because, one, it's only the first phase out of 3 in the boss fight, so you make 3 right guesses and all of this mechanical depth is just fucking done. We're moving to the next phase. Secondly, she has 0 health. I don't like, From Software, yeah, I get it. The female body, it is so elegant. She wouldn't be using a heavy weapon. She needs to be using some dexterity-focused, skill-based weapon, and she's very quick and evasive as opposed to just tanky and beefy and all that. Fucking grow a pair, bro. In the next Souls game, the next real Souls game, not counting Duskblood's fucking Nintendo exclusive dog shit, or Night Rain. I mean, maybe in Night Rain it can happen. I want a female boss fight that's the big shit, like Lady Maria or Melania or Sister Frieda. I want a boss fight like that, but she's fully armored, uses the heaviest fucking weapon imaginable, and 90% of her like attack strategy is her trading hits with you. Grow a pair, From Software. Fucking hell. Because every time you do this, it's always, they have low health, but they're so swift. She's so quick and damaging and skillful. Oh my god, like, bro, get better material. Get some new material, bro. But anyway, she hits second phase, and now the problems with the boss fight really show. Straight up, You know, like this meme with, and you're gonna go crazy for me even mentioning this, but Friday Night Funkin', you know how the meme is every time you transition to the next song, it's just literally like the guy you're fighting, you're rapping against just gets progressively more and more angry, and that's it. That's all the depth. Oh, he's so angry, and the speed of the song is now way more like hectic and whatever. That's literally Lady Maria. Lady Maria is a fucking Friday Night Funkin' boss fight. As the phases progress, she just gets more angry, her attacks do more damage, in theory, and she attacks way more often, and she's screaming all the time, and fucking throwing supreme attacks, and she's so quick, and look at all these cool spinning combos that she does, throwing blood everywhere. Like, fuck out of here. That's not deep. That's not interesting. That's kind of fucking boring. She's just spamming attacks. At a certain point, all of these pirouettes and spinning attacks, no matter how many different animations you give them, they all turn into the same exact thing. A waste of time attack that you dodge through once, and then you watch her just attack at nothing, slowly turning towards you. She also has hyper armor with every attack she does in this phase, I think. If she doesn't, then it's basically like, well, what does it matter anyway? The after hits of her in her third phase just hit you out of anything you're doing anyway, and they're flames, so like they do even more poise damage. It's like all of the depth of like, what will she do now that I have like stunned her out of her combo and whatever, all of that just goes straight out the window. She's just spamming attacks, spinning around, doing random nonsense, worthless bullshit, and like that would be fine if it was just like the final phase, but it's it's 2 out of 3 phases. So she is a boring, uneventful, inflated health bar regular enemy boss fight for most of the fight. Really not that good, but the story of Maria is fucking peak.
Depends on the whoa, hey, hey, hey.
Lawrence. Well, what's there to say about Lawrence that hasn't been said? Well, maybe a little controversially, I believe Lawrence is completely carried by the second phase. I'd still put him in poorly executed. Because in the first phase, he's just Cleric Beast, but all of the problems of Cleric Beast, but amped up to 100 because he does more damage. And every time he slams his hands into the ground, it creates like a small little fire AoE, so it stops you from doing anything. First phase is Cleric Beast, but even more annoying. I will give you this though, it's at least good that breaking the limbs of Lawrence actually like does something. It like means something. You're actually stopping Lawrence from doing the annoying Cleric Beast combos that do shitloads of damage because he's on fire. So at least the limb breaking system plays a part in this boss fight. But also it's kind of just like, even if you engage with the limb breaking system, still the attacks of this boss are so oppressive in a non-engaging way that you're just most of the time running away from him, waiting for the one attack you can punish, running in, hitting him a couple of times, run away. Because do you really want to flip that coin, dodge through this lingering hitbox flaming bullshit, and take double fucking fire damage if you mess up the dodge? Do you really want to do that against this late game inflated health bar enemy? Do you really want to do that? I don't think so. So most of the time, most players will just run away, run in, run away against a boss fight that they have already fought. So like, big uphill battle this boss fight is fighting. But in the second phase, things get a lot better, in my opinion. The second phase, he loses his legs. He constantly keeps shitting out lava everywhere behind him. He keeps crawling around the room, so he's constantly putting lava everywhere. Sort of like Quelaag, he's closing off different sections of the arena. So he's like constantly changing the layout of the arena, in a way, in a sense. Really cool. I always like when bosses do that, because his arena is just way too big for him, and so him actually abusing the fact that his arena is so massive, in a way, that good, genius. He doesn't have too many attacks. He does have that crawl which spawns explosions which look a little too silly, but you can just completely dodge that crawl by walking to one side or the other. And of course, one arm is longer than the other, so the explosion happens at a different place. Like, his actual physical design is playing multiple parts in this boss's like attacking moveset. That's really creative, really fun. And of course, in between all of this chaos of him spawning explosions in front of him and shitting out lava behind him as he crawls around the arena, you have to find some room to hit him and do damage. And he does have attacks where he literally just stops, takes a big breath, and starts spewing flames everywhere and lava, also just changing the layout of the arena, but at the same time giving you shitloads of opportunities for you to do damage. The second phase is deceptively simple in terms of how complex the boss fight is. Like, not a lot of complicated things. There's not a lot of complicated things that Lawrence is doing, but it's still like all serves combines together to create a really engaging boss fight, in my opinion. Big fucking shame that this interesting boss fight is precluded by a really boring version of a boss fight you have already fought. It's less engaging, you can do less things against him, and it takes way longer to kill him than the original boss fight. But the second phase is really good. He does do a little too much damage with some of his swipes, and the common meme among the Bloodborne community of Lawrence just straight up 360 turning around, 180 overhead slam that insta-kills you because of counter damage. Yeah, that's a bit silly. Didn't really need to do that one, Lawrence, but sure, whatever. But still, I think the second phase is a really good boss fight, and reminds me a lot of the classic From Software design philosophies for bosses. Like, yeah, I guess I could just say Phalanx or Tower Knight or, I don't know, Old Hero, shit like that. Like, very simple, not complex boss fights. They have like a couple attacks, but everything else in combination with this boss just creates the actual like oppressive difficulty, a puzzle for you to solve in various ways, and you definitely have to think against the second phase of Lawrence. So that's really good, but still, that first phase is such trash that it just puts him down to C tier. I might just like make a C+. Second phase carries this boss fight just for Lawrence, and put him in there. Obviously, Lawrence's story, I mean, there's not much to be said other than like he is the titular main bad guy of the whole game. He embodies everything that is like the antagonistic force of Bloodborne in general. He is the product of the antagonistic force of Bloodborne, or the antagonistic ideology. There really never is a main bad guy in the From Software games. There only really is always just like a main perpetrator of a bad ideology, a bad way of thinking, or a bad way of going about things, a bad solution to a problem. You know, Marika and Gwyn and whatever, Aldia and shit. So Lawrence's story. I mean, we will get to it later because we fight Lawrence twice. We fight Lawrence in total 3 different times in Bloodborne. So we'll get to it later when we talk about the Bloodletting Beast. By the way, if you don't believe that the Bloodletting Beast is Lawrence, I mean, you're entitled to your own stupid opinion, but also, like, check the facts. Measure his skull on the altar in comparison to the Bloodletting Beast's skull, and maybe you will be enlightened to what the true story of Bloodborne is. Orphan of Kos. Now, I know what you might be thinking if you have watched the other tier lists I have made of these games. I'm not a fan of these super aggressive, high speed, high action, oh, he does so much damage, he's so hard and difficult, you really gotta pay attention to what's going on with this boss fight, bro, kind of bosses. Not really a fan. But the Orphan of Kos is the one exception that trumps them all. Let's get into this. First of all, story. Obviously, the murder of Mother Kos and how that kinda, I guess, works with the whole hunters are cursed now. Okay, were they always cursed? Is that what's happening? Is like Eileen cursed or whatnot? Is German cursed or whatever? He was literally there, but I don't see him going to the nightmare. Like, what exactly is the continuity here? And then From Software turns to us and is like, bro, fuck off. We just make games and then make the story afterwards. Stop fucking caring. Alright, okay, From Soft, whatever. But the visual of the Orphan of Kos, this literal baby, this orphan, this bastard, born from a dead mother that was killed in the pursuit of an exploitative, selfish science experiment made by men who do not understand how the fuck the female body works. That, in combination with just some plain old coast with ships crashed in the background and the lighthouse at the top overlooking the whole thing, under which there is a grave from Lady Maria that you know of because you had to go past it. All of that in combination, nicely and neatly veiled and hidden away from the common mind with this illusion of these eldritch creatures beyond our human comprehension, even though it's literally just a sad baby right next to his mother's dead corpse. That's all this is. Not some eldritch supreme, can he beat Goku type bullshit. It's that simple. And then just the way you fight the boss fight, the speed, the way his moves are designed, all of that. You can parry him, you can backstab him, you can stagger him, you can... His moves are not always just brainless spam. There is some like strategy and thinking you have to do, like, oh, he's doing the big, like, he's using the placenta as like a whip and dragging it on the ground, and if you dodge the first one and you're too close, he does a different attack, but if you're too far away, you get an opening, or he can close the distance and do like this roll catch attack, like all of this. And the second phase, how progressively, just the way the second phase's moveset is designed, he just closes so much distance with each of his attacks, but in a different way. Like, he curves himself in ways which just slightly nudges you to keep pushing the fight away from the corpse out into the sea, so that you yourself then have time to react to the lightning explosion bolts that carry you across the ground. And the fact that he calls that down, you have an opening to hit him, and then as the lightning is going around, it flips. Now you have to manage both the lightning on the ground and the Orphan of Cause fighting you. Like, all this genius design around it, like, perfectly designed boss fight for this game. Like, if you really want to explain to someone what the fuck Bloodborne is about, just show them this boss fight. From the cutscene all the way to the very end cutscene, all of it, just show that to them. If they don't get what Bloodborne is about, it's not the game for them. It's not. Don't play this game. You don't get it. I do have some tiny little problems. First of all, I get that he is the final boss of the DLC, so he should do like some damage. But the Orphan of Cause has this combo where if you're right up in his face, you know, oh, Bloodborne is this aggressive game where you have to keep trading hits and healing. No, bitch. If you're right up in the Orphan's face, if you're right up in the face of any boss, they're just fucking gonna kill you. No, Bloodborne is slow, tactical, risky. You have to evaluate every single risk. That's why you have the rally system. You're supposed to count, take risks, and plan. That's why they added the oil urns on top of the Molotovs and all of that shit. That's why they have the bludgeons, which do ridiculous damage, because you're not supposed to be doing tiny little damage and counting DPS. You're supposed to do shitloads of damage with one attack that you have pre-planned like 15 moves beforehand. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I hate the Bloodborne community, by the way. Orphan of Cause, in the first phase, has this attack where if you're right up in front of him, he just starts wildly swinging the placenta around. This is done so that it hits you 3 times. The player is then made to panic roll away from the Orphan of Cause because they're afraid of whatever follow-up he does to just kill them. And the follow-up that the Orphan of Cause usually does is either he does a delayed attack where he like uses the placenta as a whip to drag it across the ground. It's a little harder to dodge. You have to time your dodge perfectly, or else he's just gonna finish you off and kill you. Or he will do this thing where he closes the distance, like does a quick step up in front of you, drags the placenta on the ground, like charges an attack, screams, and then like does a big uppercut to try and catch you panic rolling. Genius design. One problem. Let's go all the way back in this mix-up to when it starts with the quick 3-hit combo that he does. That 3-hit combo does so much fucking damage that usually most players, even if they level health, they like stop at 40 because it's a boring stat to level, I know. They stop at 40, they get into the DLC, the Orphan of Cause attempts to engage you in this mix-up of his, punishing you for being too close. He attempts to engage you in this mix-up. He does the 3-point saber combo, 3-point placenta combo, and you're fucking dead because it does so much damage. You don't even ever get to that point where, oh, is he doing this attack or is he doing that other attack to like catch me panic rolling? It never gets to that. You just die. And if you have too much health, then the actual like mix-up comes into play. Other than that, you know, the counter damage in Bloodborne is ridiculous. I get why. It's to punish you for being a brain dead beast, just bashing your R1 button into the enemies. But also, Jesus Christ, against boss fights, it literally insta-kills you even if you have 50 health, 50 vigor. It's a little ridiculous, or vitality I think it is called in Bloodborne. And the Orphan of Cause knows very well how to capitalize on counter damage. It really punishes you for bad dodges. In the second phase, I like that despite the fact that he's flopping his wings everywhere, and he's just constantly swinging the placenta around, it is still quite easy for you to just quickly do a little shimmy across the side of the Orphan, just shimmy across the right side, and the Orphan will just keep doing the combo forward and not hit you. He won't turn around. He has specific attacks for when you're behind him, but he doesn't cancel his combo to then do that attack and catch you behind him and then continue with a different combo. No, you just quickly shimmy across the side. He does his combo. He finished his combo. Now he's gonna jump up into the air. Very easy to dodge that one. Just literally run under him, and you can punish that. Punish that with maybe like a backstab, because you can still backstab him. You can still even parry him. A lot of his attacks are like he's rushing to you, then he does a step to the right, and then he attacks to like dodge your parry attempt. But it's not always that he does this. I also like a lot of his jumping attacks, which he does. You literally just walk under it. Genius. There is no like, his legs have a hitbox, so they stagger you and magically push you right under his cleaver as he plunges down with the jumping attack. Now, just really fucking well designed. I love it. I love it. Every single part of this boss fight is just so amazing. I love fighting the Orphan of Cause. I mean, I don't love it. It's still like the boss fight just is fine. Sure, I mentioned all of this different goofy nonsense, but it's still not like mechanically more complex than, for example, either one of the phases of Ludwig or the first phase of Maria. It's average in terms of gameplay difficulty. But also the fact that it's just average, the boss fight just works, on top of the fact that the story and the whole theming and what it represents, and it being the final boss of Bloodborne maybe as a whole, elevates it to just absolute SS plus tier boss fight. It can get a little annoying every now and then, just him screaming constantly. Sometimes it is a little annoying, but other than that, he's really good.
See you inside, SpongeBob!
How tough are you?
Okay, so now we move on to the Chalice Dungeon bosses, because, as I mentioned, Mama didn't raise no bitch. We fight the Chalice Dungeon bosses at half health, all of them, Dark Beast Parl included, or Loran Dark Beast included. Starting off with the first Chalice Dungeon boss you will ever face, the Undead Giant. We have all three of them here. The original tier list, which by the way was made by this person, probably. I always forget to credit people. Hopefully people read the descriptions of these tier lists. But anyway, the Undead Giant with the sickle. Despite the fact that they all look so similar, these giants all actually have various different ways that you approach and fight them, which I sort of kind of really like. The Sickle Giant, his whole thing is he works kind of like Taurus Demon, where each one of his individual steps can and will stagger you. So you have to play by his rules. You cannot be in front of him. You cannot exploit the fact that he's charging up an attack to hit him. You have to just wait for him to attack, then close the distance in, hit him, and then get hit by whatever he's doing after that, because he has like long combos which he combines together. In terms of like, this is the first Chalice Dungeon boss fight, this is what you should expect from Chalice Dungeon bosses. He's actually pretty good in my opinion. Pretty good picture of like what you're supposed to expect from Chalice Dungeon bosses. He even has a limb break weak spot which you can abuse at any point during the boss fight. You don't have to do it instantly to skip to the second phase. Not that the second phase is different all that much from the first one. You don't have to do it even like in the middle. You can do it at the end, just the finishing blow to finish him off. You can do whatever. You can even hit the head to break it. You can break the individual limbs. The limb breaking system is applied here. Really good. Really good. It's a shame that he doesn't have a lot of health. And of all the Undead Giants, he's probably the second least common to show up whenever you're like using the blood sheets to farm for blood gems. He's probably one of the least common ones, right behind the canon version. Speaking of which, the canon version is an absolute meme. Yeah, every now and then he will just aim his cannon and point blank shoot a fucking cannon into your face. This is genuinely a joke boss fight. No, the story does not carry him. He's like average. He's whatever. Pretty mediocre. I actually would put him a little lower because his weak spot is in a way too convenient of a place. Like, you break that cyst on him way too easily because it's just like it's right in the center of his body, so it's really easy to break. Usually that whole like strategy of waiting for when you're supposed to break that cyst does not come into play. The ball and chain I would put into poorly executed. The whole concept of this, of like he has after hits, really does not work. Usually in practice, all this boss fight accomplishes with this is you run he's either doing the attack where he's closing the distance and doing the big ball and chain, so you just run off to his left side and try and run behind him. And if he's doing the one where he's turning around with the big ball and with the ball and chain behind him, you just dodge back and then you dodge back in. Usually this is a very one-trick pony, very, very boring boss fight. The Undergiant with the sickle is more or less the same thing, but he has to try a lot more, which means you have a lot more openings to do your own thing, which is a lot more fun and engaging than just, oh yeah, it's just fucking, it's another ridden button masher boss fight. The Merciless Watchers. Oh my god. Oh my god. The fight in and of itself is actually fine, but Jesus Christ, me and probably you, if you have ever tried farming for blood gems in this game, you have you have unimaginable PTSD from this boss fight. Not that they're very difficult. You probably already have a build which is very good at killing them. Some sort of gun parry build, or maybe you're using the saw spear. No, not the saw spear. The rifle spear. Transform charge R2 to just cheese their AI, or whatever it is you're doing. To just endlessly farm them, but Jesus Christ, I don't think I can even have an objective opinion on this boss fight. I have killed them so many times that I don't even... they're irrelevant to me. They do not exist. They're not a real boss fight in my eyes. I would put them in bad boring. Even still, like, they're not that impressive. If you don't know how to gun parry, then this boss fight turns into a whole lot of run and gunning. They're Shadows of Yharnam, but with much less sauce. They don't spawn snakes. They don't spawn flames. They don't throw fireballs at you. They don't extend their arms or anything. They're just three dudes. Three fucking blokes. Keeper of the Old Lords is actually a pretty good boss fight, which I would put into average. Pretty fine, like a rhythm type, in and out kind of, you know, one, two hits, then break out of the combo into the side and whatnot. But I would say this boss suffers heavily from just the fact that most of the dungeons you're going to be going through, unless it's a story dungeon, you will have half health. And even though you have half health, From Software did add this fine little, just a little treat for you where physical damage does less damage to you. But elemental damage does not get decreased by this little funny little treat that they gave us. And because the Keeper of the Old Lords is a fire-based boss, it insta-kills you with way too many of its hits. So there is this sort of tension that happens quite often where you really are just like, you're really right on the edge. You're really riding right on the edge with this boss fight. Like at any point it could do the quick like double slash disengage attack with the flames in the second phase and kill you instantly. But I don't know. In the end, it's not that complicated of a boss fight, especially in the second phase once it starts pulling out the fire attacks with every single attack it does. It does sort of turn into a much less engaging boss fight, and just in general, it's not that complex of a boss fight. It is a regular it's like a plus difficulty regular dungeon enemy with a bloated health bar turned into a boss fight. But I never really hate fighting this boss fight, so I would still put it in average. It's okay. It's not insulting.
We're sorry. Fucking goddamn fucking number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Damn it, Tony!
Watchdog. Oh boy. So you remember how base game Bloodborne doesn't have many good beast boss fights. Like you have Amelia and maybe Bloodstarved Beast if you're being very, very, very generous. But other than that, not a lot of them. In the dungeons, you can find 2 more beast boss fights which are okay, and only one of them is the standout boss fight. The Watchdog of the Old Lords is not that standout beast boss fight, but it is the beast boss fight, which is okay. The limb breaking system is very important. Different limbs are a lot more convenient for you to hit and break. And also, you can put it similar to Dark Beast Parl into this constant loop of you breaking the different limbs if you set it up correctly. And of course, breaking the head is the most rewarding, but it takes so long that only specific weapons can really effectively break the head. It is sort of like a wall of health that you just are allowed to go wild on, but it also is quite dangerous. I do not like its charge attack. The hitbox on it is a little wonky. It always is an insta-kill, whether you have full health or 50% health. It's usually just straight up a fucking insta-kill. A lot of its attacks are slow, and especially its chomps, as the fight progresses, it uses the first chomp as bait for a much more faster upward chomp attack that it does, which is supposed to catch you while they're trying to hit the head. Fine, really creative, a punish for aggression, but also in reality, all this does is just slow the boss fight down to a crawl. You really are waiting for that one specific attack that you can dodge under so you can get to the legs and hit those. And usually it does take quite a while to break the legs. It's fine, but I feel like this boss fight has a little too much health. Just a smidgen too much health. The Beast-Possessed Soul is, poorly executed in my opinion. It dodges away, backwards way too much. It would have been a lot better if it dodged, behind you. In, a circular motion, it would dodge behind you, or it would, or it either dodges backward, or it dodges in the circular motion behind you, and then does some sort of goofy A combo. Maybe it even does some very easy to dodge attacks as bait to dodge behind you, but whatever. I'm getting off topic. I'm brainstorming a better boss fight. In practice, it's just it's not that fun. It's not that engaging. It's not that fun. It is very much like it's doing the attack which leaves it super exposed and it will never hit me with anything. Or it's doing the shit fucking long as balls combo that first 2 hits are confirmed if the first one connects. and then afterwards I'm just waiting for it to finish so I can finally sneak some damage in myself. It's not that complicated of a boss fight. So, poorly executed. Alright. Abhorrent Beast. You might not think much of this boss fight. It is literally like a lot of the dungeon bosses. It's something with a bloated health bar slapped into the dungeons, and you have 50% less health. This time around, it's an NPC encounter with a bloated health bar slapped into the dungeons, and you have 50% less health, and it does lightning damage, so it probably insta-kills you with some of its attacks. But this is that boss fight that I was talking about, that is a beast boss fight, that is really standout. In my opinion, although it has literally zero lore, unless we're counting like Loran Chalice Dungeon lore as the substitute for it, in my opinion, this is probably the second best beast boss fight in Bloodborne without not counting DLCs. God damn. The speed at which you trade hits with this enemy, the direction in which you dodge, changing what the boss fight will do, and also like you really are trying to bait different attacks so you have more opportunities to hit a specific side, because the limb breaking system does apply to this boss fight. You can break the head, you can break the different arms, I think you can break the legs maybe, I don't remember properly. But you can engage with this boss fight in these different ways, and as the phase progresses it starts getting different new attacks which are timed. Like, it's not that complex, it literally is just same as Maria. Like, as the boss fight progresses it just gets a little bit more angry, but unlike Maria you can actually engage with the boss fight and break its limbs and stagger it and whatnot. And also it isn't so oppressive with its attacks, like, oh, I have infinite range with this attack and I'm staggering you because after attacking I have a second attack with like fire or whatever. The Abhorrent Beast does not have this. And also, holy mackerel, Batman, the soundtrack for this boss fight is so fitting for how you fight them. I can't believe that they made this track that fits so perfectly with the Abhorrent Beast and then decided, yep, let's put it on the Dark Beast instead of the Abhorrent Beast. But whatever. It's really, this fight, I mean, goddamn. It's like peak beast boss fight. The pace, the length of its combos, just the way that all the other builds work and its different attacks. Like, oh, this attack that it does is so slow you can just shimmy across the side. Oh, this attack, it's a triple hit combo, but if you can literally just dodge under the first hit and then hit. Oh my god. Mwah. Mwah. Love it. It's basic as fuck, but sometimes really simple with just a hint of stagger systems. It's all you need. And the soundtrack really peak. It's a shame it drops fuck all good blood gems, so you don't actually get to fight it all that often, but whatever.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else.
Loran Dark Beast. Oh boy, here we go. So obviously the camera beast, Loran Camera Beast, the first problem is the camera, obviously. The second problem is it does lightning damage, so if it hits you, you're probably insta-killed. Third problem, it has so much fucking health to substitute for the fact that you're basically constantly staggering it infinitely by breaking all of the different limbs, just circling around the limbs and breaking all of them. So it needs to have a lot of health to ensure that the boss fight actually gets to do something at one point or another. But goddamn. I mean, it is fun to just break its limbs constantly and then break its head and do a riposte, and it gets decharged, and then it has to spend a turn charging, and you get an opportunity to break the legs. Like, this boss fight is designed very well and intelligently. It's a gimmick fight it works. The gimmick works. The only problem is the fucking explosion that it does. It slows the explosion that it does, where it like curls up and then screams and explodes. That one, like, honestly, if you remove the lightning damage it did, and it only worked like a regular beast roar, where it just curls up and instantly roars to just push you off of it, that would have been 10 times better than it doing damage, because now the attack is slow. It fucking insta-kills you if you mistime your dodge, and if you don't mistime your dodge, then the way you're evading it is by running away and then running back in, which means it slows down the pace of the boss fight way too much. I get why. It's to make sure that, like, the limbs have some time to, like, recover. But still, Jesus Christ, man. Like, a couple things... It's so well and tightly designed, but a couple bad apples ruin the whole bunch. Kinda hard to rank it. I would still say that it is average. It's fine. You can use blood cocktails against it. You can use fire against it. You can break the different limbs, so different weapons will have different ways of engaging with this boss fight. But the camera, the explosion, and the fact that it insta-kills you, I don't know about that. Alright, Bloodletting Beast. Oh, hey, hello, Lawrence. How are you doing, Lawrence? By the way, guys, did you know that this is literally Lawrence? Oh, what, you don't believe that it is Lawrence? Please explain to me how the Cleric Beast, clearly a deer-type beast, is supposed to fit the Lawrence's baboon-like skull into its head. How is it exactly supposed to pull that off? I don't know. Maybe it's because the Cleric Beast is not the beast that Lawrence turned into. Maybe this beast down in the dungeons, right in front of Queen Yarnum, that has this suspiciously Lawrence's skull-shaped scar across its head. Maybe that one with a head that resembles that of a monkey, a baboon, and perfectly fits for Lawrence's skull. Maybe that one is the actual Lawrence, real Lawrence. Lawrence is somewhere in the dungeons, beheaded, rotting, with a centipede in its fucking spine, controlling it. Fitting end for Lawrence's ambitions. How debased he in the end ended up. Both in the perception of the people, as we see in the nightmare, and how his physical body ended up in the end. Anyway, the boss fight, it sucks. It's awful. It is so dog shit, bro. It's so terrible. Basically, this boss fight has like 3 moves. One of them is a really annoying stomp. The other one is a grab, which insta-kills you. And then other than that, it has long combos, during which it flails around, basically making it pretty difficult for you to hit its different limbs. Oh, but you can break the different limbs and do more damage. Cool. Thank God that you can, because imagine if you couldn't stagger this boss fight in any way, shape, or form, and you just had to keep chasing it around the arena as it keeps flailing like a fucking baboon, a monkey, all the fucking time. So boring. The headless variant of Lawrence is even worse. From Software loves this gimmick where a boss fight is blind and has to respond to sounds. The Headless Bloodletting Beast is, of course, blind and has to respond to sounds, which means that at certain points you can literally just disengage from the boss fight, hide in a corner, and he will just not know where you are. Because of this, however, the AI clearly starts just sort of kind of breaking even when you're fighting them normally. At certain points, the headless version of the Bloodletting Beast will straight up just walk. You will be right under it, and it will just walk forward, and then eventually snap out of this little glitch to stomp and then go back. Huh? Why would you do that? Oh, so you can just walk forward, stomp, jump back again? You can still break the limbs. Eventually in the second phase the worm comes out, and all the worm basically does is it functions as a do not be in front of me sort of attack. After any sort of attack that it does, if you are right in front of the headless bloodletting beast, it will just do the big chomp with the worm and give you rapid poison. It's basically like, you remember how I critiqued the Bloodstarved Beast, where at the point in the game where it is, the poison is so quick and the player has so little health that basically it inflicting poison on you with its attacks just basically just insta-kills you. It doesn't actually put you in the mix-up of you having to deal with the fact that you're poisoned and this highly aggressive boss fight is running around the arena trying to catch you. It never happens because you just get hit, it poisons you, in like 0.5 milliseconds of you getting hit, you're dead. That exact same ideology is now applied to the headless bloodletting beast, but correctly, because clearly the whole point is you're in front of it, you're not supposed to be in front of it, it chomps you twice. That already does a lot of damage. If you're not dead by then, the double chomp will basically give rapid poison to you. That's basically blood loss. You're dead guaranteed. Which, yeah, cool. I mean, it works, right? It does what it's supposed to do, but also that's so fucking boring. On top of that, the headless bloodletting beast has this thing where it will do the double pound into the ground, and then it will lean back and do a big fucking smash into the ground. The hitbox on that thing, if you have gone far deep enough into the Chalice dungeons to meet with the headless bloodletting beast, then you know how infamous this fucking hitbox is. It's so dog shit. And because this is Bloodborne, you will try to dodge it, get hit by it, it's counter damage, so you're insta dead. A lot of this boss fight is just like a either or, feast and famine. Like either you're winning or you're dead instantly after like one mistake. Not very fun to engage in.
We smoking filtered crack, you stupid piece of shit. I'll fucking kill you.
The Thumerian Descendant is a similar concept to the Abhorrent Beast, where it's very simple. The whole point of this boss fight is just it has various variably timed different attacks that you dodge behind, and then the boss fight has to adapt to that in different ways. But unlike the Abhorrent Beast, you can't break its limbs. You can only backstab it and parry it. That's not fun. The Feast or Famine the backstabs are fine, you know, those are really satisfying to hit. But the gun parry system is just so dogshit and unfun and terrible that just it's not engaging. And of course, in the second phase, guess what he does? He gets more attacks and starts dual wielding his fucking, what is it? Scythes or whatever? Sickles? Hoo-hoo, big hoopla. Not that fun. I would say bad boring, just not really that fun. Especially if you have 50% health later down. I don't even know what gems he drops. I think similar to like the Abhorrent Beast in comparison to the Loran Dark Beast, it drops cold gems because that's what the Thumerian Elder drops. But because he probably never can be the final boss of a dungeon, unlike the Thumerian Elder, you will never be farming this guy for cold gems. The Elder, however, is actually a really good boss fight. The The only real thing that I would genuinely say is bad about this fight is the fact that sometimes it just keeps teleporting around the room, breaking your lock on, and because it's completely random where he teleports, like you're sort of at the mercy of whatever attacks he decides to do. In the first phase it doesn't really matter. In the second phase, when he does either the triple hit crossbow or the big lunge with the lance, it really matters which one he's doing, because both of those can kill you, but only one of them kills you after it hits you twice. One of them can kill you as soon as it connects. So, but other than that, a lot of his attacks are fun to hit. You can still, even in the second phase, stagger him out of a lot of the hits. So not only is there just the average sort of mix-up of, is this an attack which I can just strafe under, or is this an attack that's so quick that I have to dodge through it? There's also another point of this mix-up of, is he doing an attack which I can just hit him out of? Which is fine, like, really good. He does do elemental damage, which means usually he just straight up insta-kills you if he hits you, especially if you're mistiming dodges, which... Okay, cool, Bloodborne. Yeah, whoa, you got me. You wasted my time. Good job. But other than that, really good boss fight. It's like an aggressive caster type boss done right. Unlike a lot of the other caster type bosses, like for example Ralana, where they're just archers in disguise. This one, like, he's using his spells to really mess you up. He's getting creative with his spells. There's that one attack he does where he keeps spinning the staff above him, and it keeps spawning like fireballs. And like if you're far away from him, just holy shit, Armageddon type shit. You're constantly getting bombarded by fireballs. But if you're right under him, I think he even has hyper armor, so it's literally free damage. But you have to like. You better make sure that if you're like right in the middle, you better make damn sure you're choosing the correct dodge, because if you dodge to the side, you're fucked. Yharnam Thumerian Queen. The end to the Chalice Dungeons. It's fine. This is another one of those fights, gimmicky boss fights, where I feel like you really needed a little bit more complexity to it. Like, the whole concept of Murgo inside of Queen Yharnam stunning you if you hit her if you stay near her for too long. That's a genius thing, but I feel like Yharnam doesn't really capitalize on this opportunity all that often, or all that well. So, in the third phase, it spawns the clones. I do like how just varied the different phases of Yharnam are. She is very damn, like, she's pretty tightly designed, and she knows what she's doing. Or, like, this boss fight is pretty good, but I still feel like you needed just a little bit more. This is the final boss of a different, like, this could be the final boss of Bloodborne, period. You know, there's the DLC final boss, there's the base game final boss, and then there's the dungeon final boss, and she is that boss. But she's not really like all that crazy. She's just like okay. I would put her in like average. Of course, the story of Queen Yharnam. I mean, Queen Yharnam, especially the one in the dungeons, as if you fight another one outside of the dungeons. But the boss fight with her is more or less like a end chapter sort of pre-sequel to the story of Bloodborne as a whole. Like, she very neatly closes off the whole story of the Pthumerians and what the fuck happened to them before Yharnam was created. But still, you know, and I mean, the whole, she is like another mother type character, which in case you didn't know, are quite important in Bloodborne's story and theming, and it is literally her baby that we're trying to put to sleep. Otherwise, shit will happen. But I don't know. Again, just the boss fight needed a little bit more spice and a little bit more complexity. Some other goofiness that it does. She is the only boss fight other than literally the headless bloodletting beast that actually gives rapid poison, and it is a serious issue. She's the only rapid poison boss fight in this game. Kinda insane. Kinda feel like Maria should have had that. Gehrman the First Hunter. I have mentioned a couple of times that Gehrman the First Hunter is not all that. He ain't all that. He ain't him, in my opinion. Gehrman is the sort of beginning, I guess Gwyn and King. No, he's just another in the line of old badass men in From Software games that From Software is for some reason so enamored with. The old legendary badass heroes. Radahn is the equivalent, or maybe Godfrey, and then Radahn is the equivalent in Elden Ring. Gehrman is the equivalent in Bloodborne. And basically, usually when they make these types of bosses, From Software just gets lost in the sauce and makes a boss fight that is too aggressive, too oppressive, too limiting to ever be actually fun. I feel like the only time that they actually managed to pull this off was in Sekiro with Sword Saint Ishin and Ishin Ashina. But the only reason why they managed to pull that off is because the whole point of the game in Sekiro was the perfection of the craft. The entire point of why Sekiro was made was because they wanted to try a new combat system. Shitloads of Sekiro's story is about just the perfection of combat and how that fucks with your brain. So it makes sense that the final boss fight would be the ultimate test of this ability. Gehrman, bro, this game is about how science exploits women and the whole concept of birth, and it just dissects this thing just to try and understand this concept of nature like a fucking moron. What the fuck are you doing here as the final boss? You're just a flex. You're just here to literally go, tonight Gehrman joins the hunt, and that's it. That's your whole spiel. Like, there was no need for you to be the final boss of this game. The Moon Presence is a better thematic final boss fight, but we'll get to the Moon Presence later. Gehrman is just, he has this thing where he charges up with his scythe, and basically if he hits you it's a confirmed combo because he's supposed to be cool and look how skilled he is, it's a confirmed combo, look how much damage he did to you because of how skilled he is with that weapon. He's the Grim Reaper. Hunters are kind of like the Grim Reapers. They're putting people to rest finally. Blah blah blah. I don't know, man. A lot of Gehrman is just like mid. If you hit Gehrman, he's similar to Maria. He in the first phase can get staggered, but unlike Maria, he does not have any sort of counter to it. You just hit Gehrman, he gets staggered, and then he just does another attack. He doesn't do like a hyper armored charged attack to punish you for brainlessly bashing your weapon into him. He doesn't dodge away, disengage, and he doesn't like shoot you with his guns or some shit. Nah, he just keeps attacking. He does have a pistol, a blunderbuss, same as Gascoigne, and same as Gascoigne, he is equally as annoying and worthless with it every time he uses it. He just shoots it, it staggers you, it doesn't stun lock you where it confirms another hit for him. It's just an annoying little chip damage that he does every now and then. Worthless attack. I do like the fact that he does switch his weapons, which changes how he attacks, but usually both variants of his weapon, the way he uses them, he attacks in such similar ways that it usually does not actually make all that much difference. The only difference that it really makes is that if he is using the weapon untransformed, he has a gun. And it's a very annoying gun, and that's about it. In the second phase, he now has hyper armor, and he starts slashing the wind. Wow, so epic and cool. The hitbox of it is so dog shit. Ah, yay, I died because I tried to dodge this invisible fucking lingering hitbox that he just tried to throw at me. Ah, good job, German. A real skillful attack that you did there. He also has hyper armor, so literally you just have to... You are forced to play by his rules. He's doing this attack, you have to dodge it in this specific way and do this specific amount of attacks as a punish, and then you have to disengage and react to his attack again. There is no like, I can stagger him out of it, I can backstab him or anything of that sort. He has hyper armor. Fuck you, rhythm game type bullshit. Not that engaging, not that fun, not that complex. I would put him as like average. His story is good, so maybe like carried by story. But in terms of like actual how he fights, he's kinda mid. You know what? Just to make sure, just to hammer the point home, I'm gonna make add a row above. I'm gonna make a B+. And it's gonna be carried by story, and it's gonna be exclusively for German. And now, the grandiose finale. The grand architect behind the entirety of this. Who knows what the fuck it is? Who knows what the whole meaning of it all is? The moon presence. Similar to Rom, I also have a tinfoil hat theory as to what in the goddamn the moon presence is even supposed to be. Or how the boss fight was supposed to go. We know through the unused chalice dungeons that were data mined by the tomb prospectors, that there was a version of the moon presence which was similar to Lawrence's second phase, where it's crawling on the ground, just this massive pile of flesh and tentacles, this pathetic little thing, clearly wounded and destroyed, crawling on the ground, being sort of worthless, with only a couple of its attacks regaining its majestic eldritch beauty. And then you look at that and you're like, what the fuck is this? Then you look at the real moon presence and it's like this weird beastly thing that keeps flailing around, just like a beast, angry little beast. And then you look at the concept art of the moon presence, and you see some interesting things. First of all, it has like this weird aura around its tentacle hair. Slay Queen, nice fucking hair. What's your procedure? What shampoo do you use, Queen? But the aura around the hair of the tentacle hair of the moon presence sort of looks like a moon, kinda, sorta. And also, its chest is intact. It's not like exploded outward. So I heard this, and I have this tinfoil hat theory of sorts, that the original plan for this boss fight may have been that the moon presence in all its glory, with the moon in its tentacled hair, with the chest intact, it descends from the heavens. It tries to it tries to consume you, it can't consume you, so you literally explode from out of its chest. And then in desperation, the moon presence actually has to fight you then, kill you, because like, oh shit, this never happened before, I gotta kill this thing. Then you fight it, the song in the background is constantly screaming thief at you, because you're kind of stealing its power. You were kind of stealing its power this entire game, and now you're abusing this generosity that it handed over to you to ascend beyond it. And then sort of like Lawrence, in a second phase transition, you would cut off half of the moon presence, and then it would crawl around like Lawrence in its cut chalice dungeon version. It would crawl around. Maybe, I don't know. That's just my tinfoil hat theory. That would have been a really cool boss fight. What we have right now is a very generic attack spamming, tons of tentacles flanting around. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Oh, but it also has like 0 health, so it's dead instantly anyway. Kind of boss fight. It's really boring. In New Game Plus, when it has a lot more health, its various mechanics, such as it having a limb breaking system, by the way, and also it just spawning those circles of blood which block your healing, and it then on top of that also just stealing all of your health with that one attack. Those mechanics now suddenly start being important, which I guess that may have been planned from the start. Like, you beat the game, you don't know much, you didn't submit to Gurman, this fucking thing descends from the heavens, eats you, and then you're crippled. And now second time around, alright, it's New Game Plus, let's go again. You play through the whole game, then you get to the moon presence again. This time around, you know what you're doing, you got all the umbilical cords and shit, and you fight the moon presence for realsies, and it's actually difficult because it has enough health for all of its mechanics to actually matter. But also, we are in New Game Plus. I can be over-leveled as fuck with a lot of powerful Chalice Dungeon gems slotted into my weapons, and I can have multiple weapons fully upgraded with blood rocks and the like. So it sort of levels itself out. In New Game Plus, it's a much better boss fight because the frantic flailing that it does, like, you can see the gimmick. The gimmick is it does the one attack that steals all of your health. It forces you to use the rally system as your only source of healing because of the clouds that it summons. And then also it does the frantic, just constant like wailing around like a wild beast to try and desperately chip away various chunks of health off of you, so you're constantly under pressure. It's like a massive contrast from the honorable epic duel with Gurman to this like rolling in the mud wrestling with the moon presence for fucking godhood that the boss fight is supposed to be. But sort of, again, really cool if you have given her way more health and just made it so that her summoning the clouds which cancel your healing, she would do that a lot more often, and just the attack of her stealing all of your health, she would recover from that just a tiny bit faster, so that you couldn't literally just get back all of her health. Which, by the way, funny little note, the Burial Blade alongside the Hunter's Axe is one of the only really good weapons at rallying health. So if the only way to get to the moon presence is to kill Gurman, and if you do, then you have access to the best weapon to kill the moon presence with. Kind of ironic, but also kind of very like one last bit of is your current build not working? Try this other weapon because it's really perfectly set up for this exact boss fight. So it's okay, but it really, really, really needs health buffs from New Game Plus to get finally interesting. I guess I could put in like a... let's just put it in average. But people will just skip to the end of this tier list and look at all of this and like, oh, Moon Presence average. Yeah, that fits. So I'm gonna make like a B++. Good in New Game Plus. There we go. Nicely differentiated. And that's where we will put the Moon Presence. Alrighty. So that's that. I think we got through all of the boss fights in... I'm gonna put this... Let's just... One last time, let's go through this. SS Plus, Vicar Amelia, and Orphan of Cause. I absolutely agree with this. S, great. Ludwig the Holy Blade. Story is serviceable. Both of the phases just work fine and are different from one another. One of the only bosses ever made that actually, like, the two phases are of any worth. Mikolash in A tier, controversial, but I would agree with this because it's like a gimmick boss that works, in my opinion. And is specifically very fitting for like the whole investigation aspect of Bloodborne's like story progression. A lot of Bloodborne is meant to be like a investigation, like a classic Lovecraft Lovecraft story. Like a lot of them, or Lovecraft inspired stories, a lot of them are like detectives and just these people trying to figure out WTF is going on using clues and shit. So it feels like a good boss fight of that type. Undead Giant, Abhorrent Beast, and Pthumerian Elder in A, above Maria and German. Yep, that's the tier. That's what you're tuning in here for. A minus Lady Maria. Yeah, she's just in the latter phases are just not that fun. Not that fun in terms of engagement. B++ good in New Game Plus. Yeah, definitely. Depends on your build, but this boss fight was clearly sort of like planned to be like engaged more in New Game Plus. Like I don't think they really expected you to see the ending of Bloodborne and be like, all right, bitch, make a new character and go through it all over again. It was more like, all right, bitch, you have a fully made character already, so it'll be a lot faster to just chop through all of this. German, yeah, he's not that engaging. Father Gasco in B tier. I might bump him up a little. The pistol is really annoying and he doesn't really teach you anything worthwhile. The regular Yarnamites already teach you to dodge behind enemies as opposed to staying in front of them. So this guy just being a sort of final exam. I mean, why would you test players on this considering that in the next area right afterwards, in the Cathedral Ward, like this does not really apply all that well to most of the enemies. And in all the Arnhem, it's all about like crowd control, managing massive crowds of people, so dodging them, nah. Let's keep him in average. Martyr Logarius, carried by second phase. The first phase is so dog shit. Ebrietas, my wife, I would put her in S tier if this was based on looks and fuckability alone. Yeah, that's right, I said it. The canon guy, he's a meme. Sure, keep him in average. Keeper, Watchdog, Loran, Dark Beast, Yarnum. I've put her in B+, carried by story. Nah, keep her in average. Cleric Beast poorly executed, Bloodstar Beast poorly executed, Dark Beast Power poorly executed, Amygdala poorly executed, Shadows of Yharnam poorly executed, Rom poorly executed, the Ball and Chain Giant poorly executed, Beast Possessed Soul poorly executed, both variants of the Bloodletting Beast poorly executed. I don't see a problem with this, honestly. Bad Boring, Witches of Henwick, Living Failures, Merciless Watcher, Pthumerian Death's Descendant. Yep. And then down in the shitter is Celestial Emissary, Murgo's Wet Nurse, and One Reborn. This is the definitive, one and only, cannot be replaced by anything, Bloodborne boss tier list. My opinion of Bloodborne as a whole has changed so many times as it went through the years. Right now I'm sort of leaning towards this is a good game, but it allows you to play it way too stupidly for me to genuinely like fall in love with it and its various mechanics. But I definitely do believe that of all the stories in the From Software games, Bloodborne is definitely the strongest. It's the only one that is like coherent and manageable. Dark Souls' story was always leaning way too hard on trying to subvert classic fantasy tropes, and then as the game went along, only in Dark Souls 2 did they actually try to like think a little deeply about the story and how it should connect with the player and the enemies and the boss fight and so on, and how it should, like, Dark Souls 1 set up the setting. It's like, oh, lol, Abyss, Humanity, lol, XD. Dark Souls 2 was like, okay, we have the setting set up, let's actually like try and make a story in a way that we do. It like tried something, but the game in general was not that fun. And then Dark Souls 3 was like, oh fuck, I hate working on Dark Souls, bro. Fucking whatever. Look, Sigurd, fuck off. Here, have a Sigurd and stop bothering me. Bloodborne really feels like the game where they actually tried to write a story and coherently like connect all of it together. So yeah, that's that. Channel updates. We're gonna be doing the Darkest Dungeon Vitrine grind. I feel like that's the most realistic for me to do right now. Somewhere in between, every now and then I'll drop the Elden Ring DLC blind playthrough. You know, a year after the DLC has released, I will finally finish it. But don't worry, at the very end you will have a unpatched Radahn boss fight. So you have that to look forward to. Now, if you like to see me complain like a fucking moron about video games, then that's the playthrough for you. But I'll definitely like chop it up. I'll probably chop it up to like only 3 more episodes before it's completely done. Just like, no one cares about the in-between nonsense. I'm not that funny. And afterwards, sooner or later, I will actually start like using this channel to promote my my shitty webcomics. I haven't made any, so don't like ask where they are, but eventually I will release some. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I feel like some of them are pretty well written, in my opinion. Like, no, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, that's that. Thank you for watching. Like and comment and subscribe. Make sure to tell me how you disagree with the placement of the Undead Giant above Lady Maria and Gurman. The first hunt. The fucking first boss of the dungeons. And then Mikolash, bro. Like genuinely, no like Patches the Hyena or Dragon Riders in SS Plus tier. Like straight up just fucking Mikolash in A tier. Make sure to tell me your thoughts about this tier list down below. See you later.